Last week on the Poisonrana Patreon, we talked all about Royal Rumble 2001 in a brand new episode of Reviews from the Six. And then number 10.
Here we go.
Our favourite, Steve Blackman.
The Lethal Weapon.
Yeah, comes out with his 2 sticks, and he's lighting everyone up with his sticks.
Stick talk. then
Raven with the trash can is just caving people's heads in with this.
And then we're watching this together. You're like, you know what? There's a lot of jobbers in the ring right now. We need someone big. I'm like, yeah, we need someone huge. Turn it up! And then we went, yeah! Oh, it's the other one.
It's yeah.
We both did the same.
Uh-oh.
Get this show plus NXT retro reviews, wrestling reviews, movie reviews, and so much more over at patreon.com/PoisonRana. And it's only $5. So what are you waiting for?
What are you waiting for, huh? What are you waiting for?
First time in a long time, but back like I never left. Taking each day as it comes, you know me, I don't read ahead. Watch me burn down everything, BBE on the TV set. When I'm in control on the road, you could never really know what's up next.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
Braden Herrington here with Davie Portman for Up Next. You found us live on the Post Wrestling YouTube channel, on postwrestling.com, or whatever podcast app you are choosing to use. I'm sorry, I stole your...
YouTube.com/postwrestling. Hello, everyone.
That's right. We're live right now. It's a Sunday night, a rare Sunday night, it seems, in the world of NXT, at least.
I love it. I much prefer PLEs on a Sunday to a Saturday.
We don't usually get the NXT PLEs on a Sunday. It's rare form. So.
Saturday, it's like, gotta find cover for work or record in the morning. This is lovely.
Yeah.
Had a nice shawarma bowl and just watched NXT. It was delightful.
Yeah, we had a great old Sunday evening watching some wrestling. So happy Vengeance Day to all those who celebrate. We're going to chat all about NXT and the PLE from tonight from Clarksville, Tennessee. I wonder if it was a nice time in Clarksville tonight here. For some people, it was. For some people, like maybe Trick Williams, it wasn't so nice.
Not such a good evening for old Tricky.
As we'll get into. But yes, hello, anyone in the YouTube chat. Super chats are always welcome here on the Post Wrestling YouTube feed. And hello, NXT friends. We're here to chat about NXT. We're live right now. We go live on this very feed, actually, every Tuesday night here with Up Next. So catch us this Tuesday. We will be talking about the fallout from Vengeance Day. We usually go live on Sundays over on our Poisonrana feed. So go give us a follow, a subscribe over there. We'll be back next Sunday somehow, some way to talk about everything going on, whether it's some AEW. We might chat at the very end here because we didn't go live today. So there's obviously some other stuff in the world of wrestling going on, like Cody Rhodes not finishing the story.
Oh, boy.
I mean, do we wait to talk about this, or do we just kind of give some initial thoughts? I mean, this it seems to be flooding the internet wrestling community.
Yeah, it's very strange. Like a lot of things happening in WWE right now.
Yeah.
A lot. Obviously, we've got this lawsuit which is going on, which is certainly changing the way the company looks. Like Vince McMahon is out. It looks like there's now potentially a federal investigation, I believe. Janelle Grant's lawyer has been encouraging other victims to step forward and speak out. And she said, like, her inbox is full. So it's certainly not the end of all that. and wonder if we'll see any more exits from the company or changes in the way it looks. But so obviously, like that is a very serious thing going on right now.
Yeah, other allegations possibly coming out could definitely like be more like damning to Vince McMahon and the name. And a lot of the like in rare instances, I'm seeing people still being like, oh, whatever happened to like, innocent until proven guilty. It's like this guy like has a lot of things added onto him. It's not like just, one tiny little thing. There's so much like dirt on this guy that reading that thing and looking back at through so much from that Wall Street Journal post and the whole like case and what's unfolding day to day, what seems like that is like, come on, like this guy seems a bit sleazy years before any of this came out. And now it's just like the chickens are coming home to roost or whatever. And like the $7 million lawsuit NDA that we might not ever.
So many NDAs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like NDAs seem like they were the hot thing. Oh, you get one, you get one. It's like, wow, it's crazy. So in only what seems like 1 month of 2024, like wrestling news and everything every day, it's crazy.
Yeah. And I strongly encourage everyone to listen to, Kate from Montreal on Collision Course last week, chatting to John Ceno, her giving her thoughts. I listened to Karen Peterson this morning, actually, with WH Park on post Perez, giving her thoughts. And yeah, just a time to remember to like listen to these people, as Karen so brilliantly put it. It's like people have been saying this shit for years, and women in particular have been talking about, cleaning up the business and stuff, and it hasn't been happening. So now is the time to hopefully have it happen. And all of us as wrestling fans should want a better WWE, a better life for these performers and employees of these companies. Absolutely. And it just so happens we're going into WrestleMania period. And a week ago on this show, talking about the Rumble and everything, we thought we kind of had an idea of where things were going. Obviously, Brock Lesnar, who's involved with a lot of the allegations, seems to be completely out of plans now. We then learn about Punk's injury. And then on SmackDown, The Rock comes back. And Cody saying, I will fight you, but not at WrestleMania. And I think you can actually pinpoint the moment his heart breaks in that segment.
I mean, The Rock comes out and basically cucks Cody Rhodes in front of a whole audience live on TV.
But it sounded like Cody cucked himself here. Like he was,
I
don't know. Kayfabe wise, it's absolutely ridiculous. Like I have been, like Seth brought up some brilliant points, and then Roman comes out and goes, yeah, that title's trash. I beat everyone who competed it. Completely buried the title, which I said on Tuesday's NXT. I thought they did a pretty good job of trying to make it seem prestigious.
Right.
And then Cody being like, yeah, I want everything. That is finishing the story, but not at WrestleMania. I've been talking to some legends, and basically this guy told me not to do it, and he'll fight you instead.
Because he wants you instead.
It's very odd, but obviously they feel they need the star power for it, with certain people out, a Punk out, a Brock out. But we're now seeing, I mean, we've got a super chat right now from Brian Mack in the room saying #we want Cody, but we're seeing actual performers, Ricochet, etc., tweeting this out. So is this all a work?
A Cody movement.
Yeah.
Right.
Are they trying to do a sort of Daniel Bryan 2014 kind of thing?
What are they doing? WrestleMania 40 with a McMahon in every corner. Oh wait, we're not doing it that way. We're doing like what the hell is going on? It seems like it's in day to day people are just going mad. Like
because you wouldn't Punk got hurt in that match, but when booking the match, they didn't know that was going to happen. If you were going the route with Rock facing Roman, you'd have had Punk win the Rumble, wouldn't you? Or even if it was still up in the air, is Rock going to do this or not? I think you go with Punk, because Punk and Seth is the match you're doing. And then you can have Cody by Elimination Chamber. You've figured out, okay, are we having Rock or not?
Right.
And so that seems all very odd. And then The Rock also saying in that Pat McAfee interview, like, we were going to do it last year, but I wanted to like tell the story right. How is just coming out and being like, Cody, I'm taking your spot? How is that a story? Like, we know, obviously, the family connections and head of the table. There's not a whole lot you need to do.
Right.
But that's all very odd.
There's so many ways to look at it. Like, you think when The Rock beat Hulk Hogan gave him the torch, right? And it feels like The Rock now has really took that torch and is running with it. Like, doing all these interviews, people calling him out on a lot of bullshit that he spews. He's definitely like turned a lot of people. Not as many people went and saw Black Adam as maybe he thought they were going to see him. And he really just was upset about that movie. And it's caused this whole chain reaction because now it's like, oh, actually, I'll do WrestleMania this year. Of course, you would take The Rock if he offers to wrestle again, because like money wise and like doesn't storyline, whatever, like so many more people are going to want to watch that match. There's so many people that dug up The Rock's Twitter from 2011 when he went off on CM Punk from Punk calling him out back in 2011, saying, hey, Punk, The Rock's in the main event of WrestleMania because I'll draw more money than you ever will in your entire life. And kind of is valid over like 10 something years ago, where it's like, yeah, The Rock versus Roman Reigns, that is the big match. Would it have been a fucking huge match last year in Hollywood? Probably. Probably would have made more sense.
I think even a month ago, like, I think people would have been more accepting of it. You know, I mentioned not so long ago on the show, I'd happily see Rock versus Roman. Like, spectacle, that's huge. Get to see a Rock match.
Will the match be good? No.
But will the spectacle will it feel big? Like, yeah. And that's kind of part of what WrestleMania is about. I just think how it happened just after the Rumble is very odd. And obviously there's a lot of changes going on in the company. Like, part of me, and again, like, as we stress, like, we're not journalists, we're just people who enjoy wrestling and talk about it. But it's very interesting. You're hearing, like, you know, The Rock's on the board. The Rock is bringing in Brian Gewirtz to be his, like, writer. He was always his writer in WWE back in the day. He was one of the sort of head writers there. And now he's bringing him back in to kind of write his segments. Like, is this potentially testing the waters if a Paul Levesque needs to go? Right. If they clean house, where you now have Triple H is in that role at the moment where, yes, he does have a corporate job in the company and has for a long time, but he's also a familiar face to people. Oh, it's Triple H. The Rock has that presence on the board, and seeing how, like, active he's been in the last week and having a ready-made creative to walk in to that spot. I don't know. It's just, these lawsuits are bad, and people aren't going to come out of it looking well. And at the end of the day, the feds don't care who's main eventing WrestleMania or if someone's been booking TV well in the last year. Like things could change.
If
so
people got to go, they got to go.
Sort of, you know, The Rock is our first step of cleaning up this company, like a new face. Everyone knows who The Rock is. Okay, people didn't like Black Adam, but a lot of people still kind of like The Rock.
Tooth Fairy sucked too, but
you know, like
he's made some good ones.
I don't know. Or we're also, I saw Solomonster, Jason Solomon, tweet out, we've got this press conference coming up on Thursday.
That's right.
In Vegas. Could this be to announce
next year
WrestleMania in Vegas with Rock v Roman?
Okay.
Perhaps, you know.
But then Cody was like, but I'm not finishing the story at WrestleMania. Okay. So you're saying let it play out?
Let it play out, maybe. Like, the fact that right. You know, talent are getting involved with the We Want Cody and stuff. Is this all a big thing to babyface him even more? Could it be, like, the way they just, like, devalued this second title in the last week is bizarre. So could
Cody v Seth v Roman.
Could we have some sort of unification match? Okay, it's very soon after the inception of this title, and you're talking about, at this point, about 5 titles going to be part of this thing. But if Roman's dropping the title, do we need to?
Right.
We know a Cody Rhodes would work a Raw and SmackDown if he needs to. You know, like, he's going to be doing everything with that thing. Do you need 2 titles again? I would say 1 world title and your IC title, which has prestige,
this title
works enough. Like,
there's a few ways. Yeah, I mean, are we gonna get The Rock wrestle this year? I mean, it sounds that way. It's WrestleMania 40 and anniversary. The Rock just being given the name The Rock, he owns it. He wants to. I feel like he's wrestling this year, but maybe you're onto something that actually no, it's in a little while. It's later on. He doesn't want that title. He wants the title head of the table. That's like the story going down the line. And yeah, we do. But Cody just like the Rock is the Cody cucker because he was like, oh, thank you. Now get the fuck out of the ring.
It
was one of the weirdest
how
segments.
They handled it.
Yeah,
was
like
bizarre.
So crazy. And again, I'm stressing that the internet wrestling community isn't the be all end all of the community. You know, same with when you watch movies, and Rotten Tomatoes doesn't necessarily determine what is a good movie and what isn't. But most of the time, you look at a general consensus. I have not seen like anyone, even people who like us are like, you know, The Rock and Roman makes a lot of sense. It's a big money match. But what the fuck are you doing? What the hell are you doing? This story is like
okay.
there.
We're having Raw tomorrow. I know they've announced a Cody Nakamura bull rope match, which sounds pretty fun. Like, Cody is one of the best talkers, and is, if you're going to trust anyone to make sort of sense out of this, you know, if he says, yeah, I've got my story to finish, but, you know, tie in The Rock with Dusty Rhodes and all that, and The Rock what needs to have this one match with Roman beforehand. I'm sure Cody could spin it well, but what they did on SmackDown just made him seem like, thanks for keeping my seat warm. Now, fuck off.
Yeah. The big boys are playing now. Get out of here.
Which, I mean, are they just waiting to break the Hogan record and we just do it next year? And the thing is as well, like, Cody's been avoiding this world title. He's been on the same brand as it. He beat Seth 3 times. He, at any point, could have been like, Seth, I'm coming for that. He's shown he has zero interest in it.
It's the cuck title anyways.
Now what is that? Is that going to be the match? Which I mean, I loved their first 3 matches, but we have seen it.
It's just like a week ago. It all seemed so good a week ago, week and some change, where everyone was like, wow, this WrestleMania could be the biggest, the craziest one. And then day by day, it's whittling down.
I really think the way that would satisfy everything, but it is that line, but not at WrestleMania, that just is sticking with me. Because the way to satisfy everyone is you do like Cody v Seth opens night 1 and Rock Roman closes night 1.
Right.
And then the winners face each other for winner takes all night 2. You know, like Vengeance. Vengeance 2001. As we're on Vengeance Day. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
With like the Gold Rush sort of tournament.
Okay, so book that. Let's do that.
That makes sense.
They won't do that, but yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Gunther versus Okada and
oh no, Okada's showing up in NXT, as we'll talk about.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy. Like I've seen The Rock post on social media, and he's like, oh, thanks for all the love and support out there, and like all the comments on his posts are like, we want Cody and screw you, go back to making movies and this and that. I'm like, oh my god, like what happened? This guy was like America's sweetheart, The Rock. Like at one point we were gonna all vote for this guy for president just because he's The Rock, but like now it's like no, we really fucking hated Black Adam.
And just think
it really sucked.
If you had Cody win the title last year, you could have, and I wasn't as mad as everyone. I'm always in the let it play out camp, even if it is years.
You're letting it play out. Yeah, I'm still in Cody leaving AEW's of work.
But
let it play out.
CM Punk's the devil. Yeah.
CM Punk's still the devil. Let it play out. Let it
Fake
play
the
out.
injuries.
It's all work.
Yeah.
Don't get work, guys.
But if you had Cody win the title last year, you could have done all the same feuds Cody had. Cody v Brock, except for the Universal title. Right down to, okay, people might move brands a bit, but right down to the Nakamura feuds. Everything Cody's done in this last year could have been for the title. And then you can do Rock v Roman this year. It doesn't need the title.
Yeah.
If it's for the title, there's no doubt that Roman's winning it, because they ain't putting the title on the Rock.
Yeah.
Although who fucking knows?
Yeah,
at
who
this
knows?
Point.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very strange, and it's like I get the feeling like 3 weeks ago they probably had pretty secure plans in place with what WrestleMania was going to be.
Yeah.
And now I think it's all up in the air, and it could be anything at this point.
Wow. It's madness. It's chaos. It's crazy. But I mean, we'll see. I'm sure WrestleMania will still be good. I'm not like, oh wow, Roman Rock, that's awful. Like, yeah, the match won't be good, but the whole thing is good for business.
It feels like Cody needs to win it at a WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Like winning it at SummerSlam or whatever just doesn't feel the same. So I think part of it as well, disappointment is in people is like, does that mean we're going to go through another year of this title reign?
Yeah.
Perhaps.
The Hulk Hogan reign.
But I'm with you. I'm okay with Roman Rock as well. I kind of want to finish the story.
Yeah. It's what's weird about it for me is because over a week ago, when we were previewing the Rumble, we're selfish because we're going to WrestleMania. And we're like, wow, we never seen The Rock wrestle. We could potentially, see maybe his last match ever. And that could be pretty cool for WrestleMania 40. And then Cody wins the Rumble. And then we're like, wow, you know what? Fuck The Rock. Yeah. Team Cody. He threw Punk out. Fuck yeah.
We were all watching it, waiting for number 30.
Being
and
The
then,
Rock.
Okay. I was wanting Rock or Okada. But okay.
Yeah.
Sami Zayn. And then Cody wins. And
we're like, okay,
right,
we are finishing the story. And then Punk is like, also, I'm injured. Okay, that's fine. We got Cody finishing the story. That's fucking epic. It's going to be awesome. And then, anyways, here's my pal Dwayne. Oh, sorry, The Rock. And he's he can have my spot. That's what it almost sounded like. I won the Rumble. I beat 30 guys. Rock, you can
have it.
Yeah,
I'll have
it. I can finish the story any other time, but you're back now. So, yeah, I don't know how they can turn it. If this is not all some sort of an elaborate Cody movement gimmick angle, or they do turn it around, like I don't know. They're going to get a lot of hate, but it'll go away. I don't know. But
yeah.
I'm not as mad as most people are, but the internet went absolutely bonkers and still are. They showed up a graphic. Some people in the chat right now are saying that when they showed the graphic of The Rock, the crowd booed.
Interesting.
So like people are just like jumping on board of this. Like we fucking hate The Rock.
Well, we'll see how it plays out tomorrow.
Let it play out. The rankings can always change.
Yeah. Maybe shall we get into NXT and talk about some other things after?
Yeah, we'll chat a little bit more about everything else going on after we go through.
Got our plugs at the end, maybe.
Absolutely. Always got the plugs. But let's chat about some NXT Vengeance Day 2024. We're in Clarksville, Tennessee. Earlier today, WrestleTix said that there was a distributed amount of 3,685. So I'd say there was give or take around that many people here in Clarksville.
Yeah, like it looked like the sort of upper sections was tarped off, but I thought the crowd sounded pretty good on this show and seemed to know like who everyone was, big whoop that trick chants throughout the show and that kind of thing.
This is at the F&M Bank Arena here in Clarksville. We kick off with a promo video talking, kind of mixing in the Valentine's Day / Vengeance Day. I'm glad we didn't hear any more happy birthday. Slow down. I'm glad we moved away from that kind of stuff. But earlier in the day, we saw that Booker T on social media was saying that he won't be here. He's going through, I think he was going through some doctor stuff.
Medical procedure.
Yeah, so I think for tonight and possibly this week and maybe a few weeks, but then he will be back and everything's okay. So rest assured. So pretty bummed, especially when Trick is in 2 matches on PLE.
Yeah.
He's almost like...
It felt like,
part of the game.
You know, when you watch like Nakamura's debut and no one's singing his song because no one knows it. It felt like this. That trick just sounded empty.
Right.
We had Wade try his best, though.
Oh, yeah. Boy, did we ever. But we kick off Vengeance Day with our opening match, the finals of the Dusty Classic, the tag team tournament. And I can kind of go through. We only had 8 different teams in here. We had Baron Corbin and Braun Breaker beating Gallus, and also beating Axiom and Nathan Frazier. They beat Hank and Tank, which leads us to Corbin and Braun, the Wolf Dogs. Or the A-Holes, as we call them here. They're going up against the team of the Trick Mello gang, Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams, who beat the LWO, who beat Chase U, but Carmelo and Trick also beat Idris and Malik to get to this here in the tournament. And we kick things off here. You mentioned as Trick comes out, we get the weird mashup of themes here.
Like I could do a better job than this.
You're just playing the.
It's just like fading in and out. It's terrible.
As somewhat of a producer, you could take the like lyrics from Mellows and put it over the beat of Trick, which would sound pretty cool.
Yeah.
You're like, but yeah, Wade Barrett with the ad lib here. Vic realizes, oh man, Trick's coming out, but Book's not here. It's not going to be the same. And Vic's like, don't worry, I got this, and does his best Trick Williams. Whoop that Trick as the crowd go, and he goes, what? Yes. And I believe he says, Shimon now, which got a huge pop. If you haven't seen it, definitely look up that here. And then Vic is like, what the hell are you doing? And he goes, oh, what? I'm feeling the magic here for Big Trick. So Wolf Dogs versus Trick Mellow Gang kicks things off. The crowd here is just super hot for both teams, I might add. The most reaction Baron Corbin's ever got. Oh, I didn't go over their entrance with the motorcycles.
Motorbikes.
Out comes Baron Corbin wearing a cape,
like a
Jedi robe.
It was like, a Jedi's robe, like a monk's hood. Like
Baron Corbin coming out like a monk.
I didn't get it. What it had to do with, he just found Joe Gacy's Druid's gear from a couple of years ago kicking around. It was like, that's cool.
Yeah, it looked like a potato sack.
And like, at least Bron should have worn one as well.
So then Bron comes out wearing like classic Steiner like singlet.
He's just in his singlet, yeah.
And he's also on a motorcycle. And then they don't really ride the motorcycle.
What happened? Because Undertaker used to like bomb this thing around the ring.
Oh yeah.
And when he came back to NXT not so long ago, came back to NXT, was in NXT for a night.
You mean to show up? Yeah.
He walked his bike around. Corbin's like walking. It just looks easier to walk. Yeah. To be honest,
it's not that impressive. Actually, when Corbin does it. Yeah.
Drive it.
Yeah. You did all the work for these guys to get it here. You could at least like.
Part of me thinks he's like backstage, like found a little like box full of costumes, and he's like, Bron, look at this.
I'm wearing this hood.
And like fucking around, and then the music hits, and he gets on the bike, and he's on the stage, and he's like, fuck, I'm still wearing the monk's hood, aren't I?
I don't understand. Like they could have been wearing the wolf heads.
Yeah.
Like the dog heads. Right. Yeah. Again, because they did it.
Or like a wolf head on their bike or something.
A wolf monk costume. But yeah, the Wolf Dogs come out here. And another thing, I mean, if they don't fucking make Wolf Dog t-shirts, we will. Because I'm waiting for them to do it. And I'm like, you're not doing it. So like, guys.
Yeah, you've got till Tuesday. Guys.
You got till after Tuesday. If you do not have NXT Wolf Dogs, I'm sorry. It's Steamboat Willie, guys. We're doing it. So or they're gonna call them the a-holes. I'm not sure, but the Wolf Dogs do it.
I'll check trademarks now.
I did like the video they posted earlier on NXT's social media of them arriving at the arena.
What, Tombstone?
And they got this is the fit, dog. They got the black cowboy hats, the black leather jackets, black on black.
Yeah, this on the motorbike.
Yeah,
cool. A fucking brown dollar store Halloween costume.
Man. Anyways, Trick and Mello versus Bron and Corbin. Bron gets the best of Mello as they kick things off. Trick tags in, and then Bron kind of schools him a bit too. But then Mello and Trick send them both to the outside, and then they're like in control. And Trick is back in on Corbin. There's a neck breaker for a near fall. Corbin hits the AA for a near fall, but eventually eats this clothesline from Trick. Bron is in, and he's on fire like a wrecking ball. He does this crazy move. We've been seeing him do this lately. The back suplex into the cutter.
Oh, it looks so good.
Oh man, especially on someone like Mello who sells it like perfectly. Like it's basically a finisher. I don't know how this isn't a finisher, but it looks awesome. Bron then runs the ropes, and as he's doing this, a very scary moment in this match. We've seen this recently in the last few months with Nathan Frazier.
Yeah.
But Bron Breakker running the ropes, his head snaps back underneath the ropes, underneath the top third rope, and then like almost like in a whiplash, his face hits the rope.
And he runs these ropes so fast.
He's like
Nathan Frazier. But this guy is so much bigger. So the weight that his body and momentum is throwing these ropes against his neck, this was generally terrifying. Like this could have gone so wrong. And
all the power to Wade Barrett jumping in here on commentary and making me laugh earlier. But right away, Wade Barrett was like, whoa, that could have decapitated him. It's
honestly,
it looks very scary.
I mean, I always think that when I see these rope spots, like with the Darby getting thrown into the ropes recently, when the similar sort of thing happened to Nathan Frazier. There's been a couple of times I remember, like, Enzo had a pretty bad accident against Ford Villains where his neck like just snapped against the ropes. And you had in the guy who died facing Rey Mysterio from a rope injury. Like it's pretty dangerous. He looked like his face was bloodied up from this, but he seemed to be working okay for the rest of the match.
Did he ever? He just ran.
You and I were like, oh, is everything okay? Because that was scary. And it looks like Melo's kind of waiting, like, are we good? And
Melo was more
Bron is like, I'm continuing.
Yeah, Melo's the one who had like costed the spot. Like, not costed the spot, but like Bron was like, anyways, I got to get back to doing my spot. I was like, what? How did you just no-sell that? You look like that really hurt.
I mean, it's something where you imagine like the amount he's built up muscle-wise must protect him.
I hope he's okay.
I know when that frog splash from Van Damme onto Triple H's throat, the doctors basically said to him, if you weren't so like big and muscly, like that could have been fatal. Yeah. But you've got so much neck muscle.
It was very scary. And I was so happy that he was like able to just continue the match like nothing happened. Yeah. So what a beast is Bron Breakker. So this continues. He hits clotheslines on Melo here. He's then back in and he tags in Corbin. Corbin does a pop-up and Bron catches in Melo with the power slam for a near fall. This looked pretty great. Trick is in and he's hitting a bunch of clotheslines. He does a kip up, but then tweaks his knee a little bit. This might be a story later on. Eventually, Melo's in with a code breaker for a 2 count. Bron lifts up Melo and throws him into Trick for a near fall. And then Bron throws Corbin over the ropes to the outside. The best thing Baron Corbin has ever done here is Bron Breakker throwing him over the ropes to basically land on both of Trick and Melo here. And then not to be outdone by Bron, who then climbs the turnbuckle and hits basically a swanton bomb to the outside to both of the guys as well. This guy can do literally everything. Trick then is in the ring, and it looks like Bron is setting up for the spear, but Melo shoves Trick out of the way, and Bron spears Melo. 1, 2, 3. The Wolf Dogs are your Dusty Cup 2024 winners, as Melo pretty much took the bullet for Trick in this match. It kind of was a bit of a weird ending because it was supposed to be Melo shoving Trick, but he shoved him kinda. He didn't really shove him. He just moved into the way.
It was like his momentum took him out of the ring.
Because Trick pretended as if he got hit and just kind of went, and then I can't make the thing. But either way, the Wolf Dogs win the match.
Yeah, this was one of my favorite matches on the show. I'm loving the Wolf Dogs. Like this NXT run for Corbin has done more for him than I think 6 years or however long it was on the main roster ever did.
Yeah.
I think this act really works. I think seeing big guys do like the big high flying stuff, like Bron doing the swanton to the outside, throwing Corbin over the top rope, all that stuff just makes him so fun to watch. And they're kind of like heel jock-esque goofy comedy is really working. You set up some nice things for later. They did a bit of a knee tweak with Trick, which I liked. It wasn't over the top. It wasn't like he was coming out of the match, with a stretcher job or anything, but it was a little detail they added to this match, which would play out later in the night. And yeah, making Trick and Melo seem on the same page at this point. I think also we were talking the other day about bringing these people up to main roster before Mania seems a bit weird. And the more I think of it, I think it's a great idea because you can essentially promote that stand and deliver show on the main roster. Have your Bron Breakkers, your Carmelo Hayes doing double duty until then. Don't be on WrestleMania. Don't have Bron challenging anyone at WrestleMania, but you build up for a big stand and deliver match. And therefore people who are in town who are like, oh, well, NXT tickets are cheap. Let's go to see that as well. Who aren't maybe familiar with the show, know most of the cast anyway from Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah, I mean, having the Wolf Dogs on SmackDown isn't a bad idea. Yeah. Having them as a team, right? I mean, Corbin wasn't doing jack all, so that's why they brought him down here in the first place. And I do see big things post-Mania for Bron Breakker. I've been raving about him every week, every time we do a show. But like now I'm like, whoa, you actually tick off like every box. Your promos have super evolved. You're actually found like your character. It's Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
It's basically that.
Except a meaner.
A bit meaner and a bit more like, I guess, more. Didn't see Kurt Angle like gorilla pressing dudes onto other ones.
No.
Like, it's a bit bigger, a bit more powerful kind of thing, but he has like the wrestling ability and like the character of this jock-esque like bully who just, I don't know. I see this guy really taking off the next year.
Like, think you could
WWE.
do, if you have Awesome Truth beat Judgment Day at Mania for the titles, these two could be great to just take them off them like pretty much straight away, even Raw after Mania, perhaps, and then have a couple of month run, do the breakup with these two, have Bron just destroy Corbin, and then he's to the races, you know, just plowing through people. But I think it's a good idea. And if it is to kind of, you know, help cross promote each other and not integrating people on the main roster cold, but having that bit of bleed through, I think could work.
I mean, so they win the Dusty Classic on Tuesday, where they've been promoting now the celebration of Bron Breakker and Baron Corbin, but they also get a title shot here in NXT, so they can face the family soon.
I would see that happening on Roadblock, because I don't think the family versus these two feels big enough for Stand and Deliver.
No, I see it soon.
So I see the Roadblock like event they've announced for one of the USA Tuesday nights. I think it's March 5th off the top of my head. Yeah. You could do that then, and then have bigger challenges for Bron and Baron for Stand and Deliver.
Yeah, their Stand and Deliver team. Yeah, March 5th, Tuesday, March 5th. Okay. So yeah, I'd see them winning that there and then having a bigger match at Stand and Deliver for a bigger team. Possibly. There's a few teams in the wings in NXT, but possibly something there. But yeah, I like this match, and it definitely set up for what's to come later tonight with Trick Williams. But yeah, I don't think maybe it got to like one of the best tag matches, but it definitely was a lot of fun, and there was a lot of the stories. But the story coming out for me was, wow, Bron Breakker did like everything in this match. He was throwing both Trick and Mello around like they were nothing, and Trick's a pretty big dude. And then on top of that, he was throwing around his own partner Corbin, who's also huge. So he's great. He's
great for those just explosive like bursts of energy, like obviously the hot tag, but his spot in the Rumble, which wasn't too long, but just came in, demolished everyone. You can imagine him in an elimination chamber being very Goldberg 03, you know, just smashing through and taking everyone out.
Yeah, he's very like
he's
that,
great at those kind of things. But we've seen he can do good in like 20-minute matches as well.
So that's what kicked off here on Vengeance Day. We then go to, if you're watching this on WWE Network or Peacock, you're getting a bunch of ads like we get for like 10 minutes of just like Cora Jade.
Yeah,
Bron Breakker.
I don't know if I'd prefer this or what Greg Robertson selling me pizza.
Right. Is that
his name?
Craig Robinson?
Yeah.
Craig Robinson. Yeah. We see that a lot on. Well, we don't anymore since we're network boys. But we go to our next match, a no DQ match. Dijak taking on Joe Gacy. For those keeping score at home, this match came about because this past Tuesday on NXT, Dijak tried to murder Joe Gacy by throwing him off the roof.
Yeah.
Luckily for Joe Gacy, there was a giant dumpster full of garbage that he landed in, thus saving his life. And Ava, the Rock's daughter, was so mad at Dijak that Dijak was like, oh, he survived? Well, actually, I want a match with him. And Gacy agreed to it. So that's what set this up. So
yeah, giving Gacy a very like Mankind-esque character right now, where he just, whatever happens to him, he keeps getting up and wanting more, kind of feeds off the pain.
Yeah, very Mankind. We've seen him go through some silly gimmicks here. He just got out of a cult, so he's going through some things.
Mankind's probably the best gimmick he can have. It's less spooky and culty.
Yeah, no druids again, please. And then Dijak's character,
Justice,
the film noir Justice tape recorder,
Robert Pattinson's Batman.
I mean, this is Vengeance Day, so Dijak really does fit. I'm surprised he didn't do that bit on Tuesday.
Dun 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 dun.
Yeah. His thing is his entrance is he's black and white, like Tony Storm.
Yeah,
very very nice. So this match starts off
just like Tony Storm.
Exactly.
Dijak.
Yeah, exactly. They start off. Dijak's got his big boss man nightstick, and Gacy laughs and pulls out his own nightstick. But this was like a baton one,
a flick one.
Whoa!
This is what the police in the UK use. We don't have guns. We just have this thing. I'm being serious.
You imagine like someone's like robbing a bank. Oi, you better stop robbing that bank.
Oh, you can shatter a bone with this thing.
But like, what if they had guns?
We don't have guns there.
But like, what if the bad guys had guns? What are the British cops going to do?
No, there are no guns. We're not having a gun debate on this show.
You're telling me Joe Gacy robbed some British cop?
I think this would do more damage than Dijak.
Oh yeah.
Because you can
like
be
metal.
more nimble with it.
Right. They both look like Harry Potter here with their fucking wands as they're trying to fight. So they start brawling. It's a firefight.
They drop them both immediately.
Yeah, they don't even use them here, really. Joe Gacy gains some control. He hits a tope early on here to Dijak. He gets out the trash cans and starts hitting him with that. He sits Dijak on a chair ringside and then like jumps off the steps and does a tope con hilo onto Dijak sitting, which was pretty cool, actually. Gacy comes in, gets a chair, gets some tables, and he sets up a table ringside and then goes under the ring and grabs this like box or something and starts taking out little toy soldiers and starts placing them down on the table as if they're like tacks.
It's funny. He starts putting like one at a time and then is like, this is going to take a long time. So just dumps them.
Yes.
A bunch of small soldiers.
Little toy soldiers.
Good film.
Toy soldier? You mean Small Soldiers?
Small Soldiers, yeah.
Small Soldiers is a great movie.
Yeah.
Phil Hartman.
Yeah.
We've never reviewed that.
Let's do it.
It's such a bad, good movie.
After Mania. Remind
yeah.
us. We'll do Small Soldiers.
I mean, Toy Soldiers is also a movie. I think
Toy
with
Soldiers.
Sam from Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
Could be wrong, but it's like a school and there's like an invasion.
1991.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Sean Astin.
And then Toy Soldiers, also the song.
Eminem.
Yeah, but that samples.
Which samples
Kate Bush?
Kate
No.
Beckinsale. Yeah.
No, I think we're losing weight where we are here.
Okay.
So the toy soldiers are on the table, and then Dijak stops Gacy here, and they continue to fight now back in the ring. There's a trash can crossbody. There's a huge suplex, a uranagi between the two of them from Gacy here as Dijak tried to fight out of it. It's Dijak who gains control and starts to climb up on the turnbuckle while Gacy's in the ring. But Gacy gets up, runs, and shoves Dijak, and he goes flying through the table with the toy soldiers.
Yeah,
on.
that was a good spot. It was pretty far where this table was set up.
He had to reach for it.
Yeah.
He made it, and it made it look good. And I'm sure he landed on those toys. I'm sure dads out there, parents out there can attest to
treading on
stepping
one of
on
these?
any of those like things. Like Lego definitely is worse, but these would like hurt as well. So Dijak goes through this table. This was pretty great. And then when they go back in the ring, there's a trash can in the ring. He hits a avalanche German suplex, which was supposed to go on the trash can, but sadly missed it just barely here, but still looked pretty good. Gacy comes back and grabs duct tape and then duct tapes around Dijak's complete face, like his eyes, blocking him from seeing here. And then Gacy goes to like attack him, but somehow Dijak, who can't see, can't see, I imagine. He's duct taped.
Well, Dijak's been preparing for this moment for a long time because he's been wearing dark sunglasses inside in his dark rooms for a long time. So he's been training himself.
I mean, his bit is feast your eyes.
Yeah.
So, and that's the move he hits because somehow he's able to grab Gacy. And even though he can't see, he gets him on his shoulders in the torture rack, hits the feast your eyes. But in doing so, he knocked out the ref so he can't see him, or
no, he hit feast your eyes but couldn't see where Gacy landed, so he was trying to pin him,
and then he's trying to
see.
Yeah, then he's like, fuck this, and tries to rip off the duct tape, which eventually he did. But the crowd here in Clarksville are chanting, "You can't see him."
Yeah, good one.
We've heard that before, as Wade Barrett points out. He then gets the tape off and then wakes up, basically revealing Gacy upside down in the turnbuckle, just smiling, very creepy looking, very Bray Wyatt-esque here. There's then a DDT onto a chair from Gacy and then a splash onto a chair for a near fall. Dijak comes back though. He hits the feast your eyes one more time. And this time, 1, 2, 3, he pins Gacy, and Gacy's just laying there smiling like the end of Batman, Jack Nicholson's Joker, just smiling there as he's knocked out unconscious.
Yeah, I thought there was some fun spots in this, like the table spot and the kind of the duct tape around the eyes. but just feel, it's a WWE plunder match where you're trying to promise us high levels of violence, and it just really isn't there. I always find the trash can on the head and then hitting the trash can just goofy. Like, I don't think, like, it feels like the person's wearing armor with that trash can on. Right. Like, it doesn't do anything. I always find that a bit goofy. And okay, you might be limited with the kind of weapons and stuff you can do, but I thought there was a way you could have had this, kind of like Joe v. Hook we had the other week, which wasn't necessarily loads of weapons, but just violence with Dijak just beating the ever-living shit out of this guy, and Gacy just keeps coming back for more. It never got there, and if anything, it was a bit more comical rather than just serious blood feud violence. So didn't really connect, but I appreciated the couple of creative spots in there.
Yeah, for what they had to work with, I'm assuming they weren't allowed to do a lot of other stuff. Again, Gacy with his history before WWE would do, hardcore death matches. Dijak, we've seen in WWE do kind of violence and weapons and stuff. But you pointed out that earlier this week, just a few days ago, when they showed the graphic, they just happened to have the PG-13 logo appear on the screen, and Dijak screen capped that and tweeted, "TV PG my ass. Good luck with that shit."
Yeah, it was it was PG-13.
The guy took out toy soldiers, and put them on a table.
Yeah.
So
Home Alone,
Yeah. So
yeah,
it could have been a lot better, but it was still pretty entertaining. So it lived up to what I guess I expected it to be, maybe even a bit more, but it could have been a bit more violent.
Yeah,
more like
I felt the stuff the match Dijak had with Wesley, which was Vengeance Day last year, I believe, felt more violent than this. The one where he bent his finger.
Right, that was a year ago where his finger.
That was a year ago at Vengeance Day, and I don't think that was even an ODQ match. And I remember it feeling more violent than this. Like, I think Dijak's got a style that is good, and like at being that super violent bully, but it didn't really show here.
Yeah. Well, Gacy's just laying there in the ring. The camera is focusing on his smiling face. So yeah, his character of crazy is continuing. I mean, at least I got to hear his theme song again. Love is Blind.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
It's a banger still. It's pretty good. So from that, we go to Chase U, the calendar.
Yeah.
So Chase U was about to go out of business. They were about to close up shop because of Andre Chase's gambling. And JC Jane decided to gather all the Chase U students, at least just the women, and do a photo shoot for the Chase U calendar. And we see our first shot here. The lines are long. We see Chase U signing them personally for all these people in line here. And we see Thea and JC and Jasmine here from the calendar. They're all signing calendars. And they're like, wow, I can't believe this. You can get your calendars here, or you can get your calendars at WWEshop.com or on WWE Shop Fanatics. And I mean, they won't say this on the show, but later on, as soon as this was announced, the calendars sold out on WWEshop.com because I tried to go buy you one.
Oh, yeah?
But they're
already sold out.
So they're on.
So I guess the plan worked. We thought they were being a bit optimistic on Tuesday, where they were, acting a bit too early that they've saved the unions. You haven't even sold one calendar yet.
Yeah.
If anything, you're just more in the red because you've just purchased a bunch of calendars to print. And promoting our events, we know printing ain't cheap.
I just went to shopwwe.com and the first thing that pops up is the Rock's shirt. So finally, The Rock has come back to Birmingham. I don't know why that's the biggest Rock shirt.
Well, that's where he returned.
Oh, right. Okay.
That was SmackDown.
But where's this calendar? I'm trying to find it. It's not popping
up. Under NXT, I guess.
I'm a little nervous.
I hope, I know we had a couple of listeners there, but I hope the girls in the calendar were actually selling in the stands.
Yeah.
I think that would have been a nice touch if you had, look, it's not like any of these girls are huge stars yet. You could have absolutely had them like you have at Access or whatever, but just in the merch stand, selling the calendars, signing it for people.
I'm not going to call myself a detective, but I was doing some digging the other day, and I was looking up some of the Chase U people that were in fact going to save Chase U, including the one sitting here in this segment, Jasmine Minx or something.
Okay.
Jasmine Allure, I think. I'm getting their names wrong. That's why I need the calendar to know who each person is every week on NXT. It'll be like, oh, that's so-and-so, right?
Except that means you'll be saying who about one of them until December.
Right. Oh, is this for next year's calendar?
No, it's this year.
Yeah, and then how am I going to know after?
Like, you won't know January because it's already gone.
Right, yeah, that's right. Usually you put out calendars like
just before
the year starts.
And for 25 US,
but what I was going to
for a calendar starting in February, come on.
I mean, so this they had Thea and JC and Jasmine Allure here, right? After doing some investigative work,
yes,
Jasmine Allure, featured here in the Chase U calendar on social media, was posting very cute and cuddly photos with who I presume to be her boyfriend. And I thought, that guy looks pretty familiar. Why do I know that guy? Is he a wrestler? Is he in NXT? I'm not sure. So I clicked his profile. He's the bully from Squid Game, The Challenge.
Really? The guy who
is the bully.
The bully goes out battleships, is it?
Yeah.
I think, yeah,
that guy.
Oh boy.
So if you were wondering, I wonder how that guy's doing in life. I think he's doing all right.
Are we going to see him in the PC?
I hope so. That was my favorite part of that show. Anyways, yeah, my detective work only goes on Instagram, and that's it.
Wow.
But yeah, isn't that crazy? Worlds collide. Squid Game, The Challenge. Maybe that's the link to getting more wrestlers on it next year.
Squid Game,
The Challenge. AEW wrestlers lose in the first challenge.
Yeah, so they had blue pants.
Yeah.
I want to enter for sure.
Yeah. Anyways, buy the calendar if you can. We go to our next match. It is a 6-person tag. It is Out the Mud, OTM, and Jada Parker taking on the family, Tony, Stacks, and Rizzo, who are the tag team champions, by the way. I felt like this video had a package longer than the main event video package. They just really had to get over the story of this.
It goes deep.
Story.
These two, they're fighting for the streets. You had
fighting for the streets.
You had Rizzo taken out in the restaurant, probably kidnappings.
Whoa! Don't just assume that. That's how you get in trouble here on the streets. The best part of this video was Rizzo. I mean, clearly she's putting on this accent, right? All three of them put on these heavy, like, Italian mobster accents. But Rizzo had me dying here with the part in this video package, which was, my mother always taught me, fool me once, I break your face. Which I thought was
she always does the smell the fart acting as well.
Yeah, exactly. So out come the family, and then out the mud. I love Scripps OTM, like, baseball jersey or whatever jerseys they were wearing, but they also come out on motorcycles.
They come on like just bicycles, but walk them.
If you thought Baron Corbin walking them was bad, these guys look like they've never ridden these lowriders before in their life.
Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't you meant to pedal?
Yes.
Okay, that's how a bike works.
When they got off them pretty early, the one guy knocked them over, and Scripps caught it from falling over. And it was like,
it just looks awkward. Like, just leave them backstage, guys. Like, they're just in the way.
I mean, it's cool for an entrance.
Is it?
I'm trying to remember. We've seen
it was Hunico and Camacho.
Camacho, right?
Did it?
Yeah, that's right.
Theirs looked a bit nicer. Theirs were like shiny gold and red.
I'm trying to think.
But again, they walked it. Like, ride these things, guys.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if Austin just like walked his
ATV?
Yeah, to the ring.
He would bomb that thing.
100%.
So OTM taking on the family here. We have the family attack them from behind in the middle of the ring when their entrance is ending here. And that's what kicks things off here. We see Jada Parker rocking some Rico's gear.
What, one leg?
One leg.
Yeah.
Like Matt Cardona.
Yep.
Zack Ryder. We get the butt attack in the corner on Rizzo for a near fall. Eventually, all three members of the family are in the ring, and they all grab one of the opponents, and they all are doing the hockey punches, as I call them, because I'm Canadian, but they're mob punches.
Roughing them up.
Yeah. The mob punches, I guess.
Punching where you can't see the bruises.
That's right. So they're doing all these things, and then Stacks goes into the corner, and he starts getting beat on, and they keep tagging in and out. They hit a series of double team strikes onto Stacks. They keep stopping him from trying to tag. They hit the like double torture rack drop kind of thing, almost like the Scott drop for those who know what that is for a near fall. There's then Tony who makes the hot tag. Finally, he comes in hitting suplexes, the spine busters. Tony's about to hit the forget about it, but then Jada comes in the ring and slaps Tony, and he just goes, Rizzo. And when there needs to be, when you need to take care of Bizzo, you call Rizzo.
Right.
In she comes and takes on Jada. They start attacking each other. And then Stax gets thrown to like the outside from Tony. Rizzo then does a spot where she crossbodies everyone. Scripps gets punched.
Yeah, this is from like the top to the floor. And Vic Joseph is pointing out that she was a All-American long jumper.
Wow.
So has the springs.
Yeah, she jumped pretty high, taking out all of them. Scripps even gets caught in the middle of a jumping move as well. Tony goes back in the ring. He hits the forget about it, and the family beat OTM here in just over 10 minutes, 10-11 as Wiki says here. But yeah, OTM are back in the mud.
Yeah, I thought this dragged a bit while Stax was getting beaten down. You're building up to that hot tag. Which I think Tony's suplexes look great. They've really improved and like look so crisp. And his finisher especially looked really nice. I'm enjoying the team of the family. I wonder if they're a team you could move up after Mania, because I feel that the teams they've been feuding with haven't really, because I think the wrestling's there now for like Tony and Stax. I think they're really gelling nicely as a team, and I wouldn't want to see them split up this group. But I'm just not completely into OTM yet. They seem quite green. So wasn't fully into this match. And I do think the tag division feels a little depleted, because once these guys move up, and we know Baron and Bron aren't going to be in this for long, because they'll be going back to the main roster. Mello and Trick have split. And then you've got your like Idris and Malik's and that level of people who are great, but need to be elevated. So definitely feel we need some more tag teams here. But yeah, please see the family win.
Yeah, I'm happy that the family win. They beat them already, retaining the titles just recently. I think we can move away from these guys. I don't think OTM are quite at the level yet. They're still pretty new here to NXT to be featured in these PLEs and everything. Like, good for them. It wasn't a bad match by any means. There was some fun spots, and I think the crowd got into it in certain parts. But yeah,
there was a really funny spot where because Stax made the hot tag to Tony, and then Stax just like laid down on the apron recovering. Tony comes over to him, wakes him up, picks him up, and just throws him on top of everyone on the outside.
Yeah, it's good. They're pretty fun. Yeah. So we don't really have teams here. So I assume Bron and Baron take the titles from these guys.
I would think so, yeah.
At Roadblock, you're thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. I just don't know who their challengers would be for Stand and Deliver, but we'll see down the line.
Yeah, because you can't really bring a main roster team down to fight another potentially main roster team.
Yeah.
You've got Fraser and Axiom and Idris and Malik, unless is there like a makeshift team you could do with some other people?
See, anyone from All Japan?
Yeah.
CMLL, AAA,
yeah.
TNA, right? Sean definitely.
GYV just coming back.
Oh my God. Yeah, true. That would be pretty cool. We have a super chat from Jake from the Windy City who says, how was it in the middle of NHL madness this weekend with what, All-Star Weekend?
Yeah.
All the stuff taking place like minutes from our apartment, and both of us did not take place, but I saw that Edge, the Copeland hanging out with Murda Beats. It was something I did not seem to see on a bingo card, but that was
I saw him with Gretzky.
Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah.
Is that Murda Beats?
Yeah, that was his other nickname.
Right.
The great one, and also Murda Beats.
Yeah, it's been pretty busy in the city. It was a nice weekend, actually, weather-wise.
The
bar was pretty busy.
We have also a super chat from versus Gary Coleman, who says Gary Coleman is waiting for Braden at Arby's for a fight.
All right.
Super chats are welcome.
Thank you for the super chats, guys.
Yes, I'll always remember super chats are welcome here. Thank you. Forget about it. We go to Kiana James and Izzy Dame, a video package for these two. They're at the pool, the classic NXT pool that they always shoot, whatever. It's just someone's like condo pool that they shoot at. And they're talking about business, and their eyes are on the women's championship match, meaning Roxanne and Lyra here tonight. So whoever wins, they're going to be paying attention to come NXT. We see Melo and Trick backstage, and Melo is the one being checked on from losing their match earlier today. And he goes, "Don't worry, Trick. Focus. Stay focused. You can beat Ilja. You know he's been messing with us this whole time, but you got this."
Yeah, Melo, like, completely... In the past, he's been sort of, like, worried that, you know, Trick isn't focusing on the Dusty Cup so much. But here he's like, look, we took an L, but you need to focus on this. This is the big one, and really being there for his buddy.
Yeah. Or is he?
Or is he?
We go to our next match.
Was this where, or did they have another bit later on?
I feel like they may have had a bit between them, but why? What?
Because...
No, wait.
Yeah, because Melo goes, I know what you're going to say. You want to go out on your own? And Trick goes, no.
Oh, right. Sorry.
I'm going to win the championship, and I need my brother there beside me.
Yeah, so for the last like months, Trick has been not allowing Melo to be out there, and now he's inviting him. So that definitely, ticked off. Not like basically leaning into, oh, Melo's there. There's a reason for him to be ringside. We go from that to the NXT Women's Championship match. The champion Lyra Valkyria taking on Roxanne Perez. We get a whole recap video of Lyra becoming champion, and then we have Roxanne, who Vic Joseph brings up on commentary, like, hey, she faced Meiko Satomura and then fainted and then never won the title back.
Was kind of weird that they were reminding us of this terrible angle they did last year.
Yeah.
Where, so they semi-vacated the title, essentially vacated it from her, put it in a ladder match, and then Roxanne was like, no, I'm fine, I'm going to wrestle. And Indy won it, who got injured immediately
and drafted to Raw
and moved to Raw. It was very bizarre. And it really, I do think Roxanne has taken a knock since then. I don't think she's been to the height she was when she was champion. Like, they've kept her busy with little feuds, with Kiana and Blair. But really, I think she lost some popularity. You didn't really get the cheers she used to get. Like, I wouldn't say she was being down, but I don't think that whole thing did her any favors.
I have a better question. Whatever happened to Meiko Satomura after that?
I have no idea.
She just vanished.
She did.
We never saw her again.
Yeah, it's almost a year ago.
She is someone who could be completely... She doesn't have many years left of her career, I can imagine. We need to get the most out of her. And she's just been, like, chilling on the shelf. Like,
I don't know. Yeah, it was pretty much that was her last match, I think.
Yeah, about a year ago. Or no.
Yeah,
like that.
7th of March.
It's crazy.
Bizarre.
Yeah. Well, Roxanne taking on Lyra here. They tie up here. They're like counter for counter of different technical moves. There's then a bunch of different like near fall attempts. There's a springboard moonsault from Roxanne early on for a near fall. Lyra comes back with a beautiful looking standing vertical suplex. There's a leg trap German suplex for a near fall as well. Roxanne then hits the pop rocks, but as she didn't keep it for the pin, which was weird because usually she does, and then she wins the match. But she let go and then rolls to go pin her when music hits, and it's the music of Lola Vice, who runs down with a referee. I don't know if she realized that there's also a referee in the match right now, but she runs out with a referee with her contract, the breakout tournament contract, and just as we suspected, she's cashing it in. She just didn't wait for the match to finish.
She did a Seth.
Yeah.
She cashed in during the match.
I mean, she could have waited a little bit longer. Maybe she would have maybe walked out with some gold, but she cashes in this contract. Therefore, this match is now a triple threat. Yes, just like Seth Rollins from that one WrestleMania. And now she's gaining some momentum. Tatum Paxley tries to stop her, actually, who's ringside for Lyra. And she's like, no, you're not interfering here. And she just roundhouse kicks her and is like, nah, get out of my way. So she goes in, cashes in, and the match starts triple threat. She hits a roundhouse kick to Roxanne, and Lyra, though, like stops her from pinning her. So the match continues. Lyra hits a splash for a near fall. There's a series of enziguris. All three of them are going at it. There's a bunch of jumping kicks. There's the hip attack in the corner from Lola. Eventually, Roxanne hits like a Russian leg sweep DDT combo, and then a tope to both of them back to back. Then there's Lyra, who hits the bird bomb, as we call it, but they now call it the Night Wish.
Night Wish. Is that a bird?
Is there the Night Wish? Is that a bird?
There's a band.
Night Wish. Yeah. That's like a band. Yeah. Anyways, that's the move now, the Samoan driver. But that's broken up. Lola tries to then get the pin, but then that's broken up as well. There's a huge spinning back elbow for a 2 count. The crowd bit on that. And then the Falcon kick, as I'm calling it, to Lola as Roxanne rolls her up, but that's broken up. There's then a pop rocks to Lyra, and then Tatum gets in there and throws Roxy out, leaving Lola alone.
Well, Tatum goes to take out Lola,
but like
Lola is trying to break up the pin.
Yeah.
So Tatum goes to take Lola out with like a clothesline, but Lola ducks, which causes her to crash into Roxanne, sending her out.
Yeah, leaving Lola in the ring with Lyra, who then picks her up and hits the Night Wish for the 1, 2, 3, as Lyra Valkyria retains the NXT Women's Championship, as Roxanne Perez looks absolutely heated because she's like, damn, not only did you interfere, but you didn't even win, and I didn't win, and you just mucked it all up. But yeah, I think the crowd weren't that into Lyra and Roxanne from the get-go. I felt like it was a little quiet. I felt like not a lot was really happening in the match. I'm not like saying that they did it on purpose, but to inject something like, oh, now this match has a cash-in, like kind of got the crowd a bit more awake. I think the crowd actually were on the side of Lola Vice, who, like, this is a big spot for her, one of the biggest moments thus far in her career for WWE. So it's like, well, okay, just being put here is good. I just, maybe there was a too many things going on towards the end that it's like, wait, this is still developmental and we're like overbooking some things, like Tatum running in and the moves and the roll-ups and stuff. Like, so I'm looking at it like, on the one side, the crowd really did like wake up for this part of the match because it made it a bit more exciting. And I think that's how I felt too. But then it was a bit chaotic with some of the things towards the end.
I really enjoyed it. I've seen actually quite a bit of negativity online about it already, but I thought it was pretty fun. I felt Lyra and Roxanne were having that match that just slowly builds. You know, they were doing a lot of the just classic chain wrestling, which you tend to get when it's a face v face, like let's try to out wrestle each other. And normally the nature of that is it's just a crescendo throughout. So I kind of know I kind of feel that's why the crowd might have been a bit subdued at that point, and you're waiting for that escalation. But I thought their wrestling was pretty solid before Lola came out. And then I just thought it became really chaotic, as you said, but in a fun way. And I think it made the options more interesting, especially with Tatum interferences as well, because you could really see anyone winning this. You could buy Lola's cash-in working. You could even buy Roxanne getting a freak win in this thing and continuing that. Like, I thought it was pretty fun, and the near falls towards the end were great. I thought Lola, it was some of the best she's looked. I thought her kicks and strikes looked really good. Her like quick jumping kick she does.
Yeah.
And she did a really nice looking spinning back fist. So, you know, it was overbooked, but I did think it made it more of a fun match. And I liked doing, you're used to cash-ins and the win happening within a minute, you know? And I kind of appreciated doing something a bit different with it, with the cash-in that then turned into a pretty full match.
Yeah. I think they have a star on the rise with Lola Vice for sure. Like, she's got the whole package. I love the kicks and all the submission type stuff that she's been doing. So yeah, even though she didn't win, I do think like it was a little too soon for her if that were to be the case. But like Lyra, the character, it's more fun having like a heel champion. And I don't necessarily know if Lola will be a better heel or a face, because the crowd seemed to just be behind her regardless of what she was doing here. So I don't know. But yeah, I know she's still new to this, but I think down the line she will be champion in maybe this year.
Who do you see Lyra's challenge for Vengeance say? For Stand and Deliver?
It's so far from here. I don't know. Like, is Tiff gone at this point, considering she's kind of main roster bound?
Tiff signed SmackDown.
Right? Yeah. So it's like, we won't be getting that. I mean, do you go to Lola Vice? Do you go to Roxy? Do we go to a multi-woman ladder? You know, you're getting one ladder match on that show.
I think the ladder match would be better served for the North American,
right?
Because you can it's a way to get it off over Femy, maybe, without beating him, although that's not a particularly long run. I mean, you brought up Mako. That's pretty much the only person I can think of within NXT who hasn't really had a shot or feels ready for a shot yet.
Right.
Unless you go back to Blair, Roxanne, or Lola, which I don't know if you do at this point. I'm also wondering, I'm going to put it out there again, if a Dakota Kai is ready. It could be a thing. I know you've kicked Bailey out the group now, but it could be a thing where they're still going for all the gold, and that could include NXT and could continue that. You know, Damage Control are a pretty hot act. Continue that sort of crossover between them all with a big name in like a main roster, Dakota Kai, who never held the NXT championship. Could be something there, which, you know, the two girls who are leaders of the Kick. No, what is it? What did Dakota Kai say?
Team Kick?
Yeah. Both a Team Kick, aren't they?
Who was?
Well,
Lyra?
Dakota Kai's Team Kick, and Lyra's a kicky kind of girl.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know necessarily that would happen. I know maybe she's coming back to an in-ring career, hopefully soon. Dakota Kai, the knee brace has disappeared, so possibly. But I'm not sure for Stand and Deliver. Yeah, who else do we have right now?
OIN's bringing up that Julia's contract is up, and there's Camille coming in, and there was some news coming out during NXT today about the guy who runs Stardom. League.
Yeah. I can definitely. I was reading about it earlier, but basically one of the like main names who run Stardom has been like let go, and I'm not quite sure if it's because of other reasons, but it could be something to do with contract. Something like that. I don't know. I only took a glance at it before recording today. But
yeah, I did see Meltzer's tweet as well, where someone had said, suddenly wondering if Kyrie returning to WWE had anything to do with this.
Right.
And him saying, remember I said Kyrie returning to WWE like is part of a bigger story. So, you know, maybe that could be a sign if he's coming to WWE, like a Julia would be coming in as well.
Yeah.
Perhaps, or some Japanese talent.
I'm on the fence. I've been eyeing Stardom in Philly at the ECW Arena Philly weekend. If anyone's going, let me know. But I'm like, so he won't be part. It'll be Bushi Road exclusive going forward with Stardom. I know he was somewhat of a deal, like
Rossi Owaga.
Yeah. So maybe he's bringing Julia to NXT.
Yeah,
possibly. We'll have to see. Maybe there's your answer. Julia versus Camille.
I mean, maybe like it wouldn't be a bad thing to have within the company. For now, you've got a lot of sort of Japanese speaking talent there, some kind of like figurehead who can
NXT Japan.
No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying someone like a producer of some sort who can like communicate. I don't know if this guy is bilingual or whatever, but you know, someone who can communicate better with that talent. Because you got a lot there in the company now.
Well, let us know what you think will be the challenger for the NXT Women's Championship. If Lyra holds it onto that far, but if I'm Roxanne, I'd be pissed at Lola Vice for taking her spot, which
she seemed pretty pissed.
Yeah, which will set something up later. We go to a Chase U calendar signing. They're still busy. They're flying off the shelves so fast that we're waiting for the restock on WWE Shop. But we see Riley Osborne asking Thea Hale, and he's getting the calendar signed, and he goes, I just wanted to ask if you had a Valentine's yet. And she goes, no, I don't. Do you? And he goes, well, I was wondering, you know, maybe like you could be mine. She goes, yeah. And they said for Valentine's Day. So I'm assuming that's in not this Tuesday, but next Tuesday, because it's the 13th. Fellas out there, Next week is Valentine's Day, the Wednesday. Just so you know, a little reminder, don't say I ever do anything for you. So, we're going to see a date on NXT.
Nice.
Thea's been trying to get with Riley. I feel like I'm reviewing Riverdale or something again. But, more dates on my NXT. We have a vignette here. Oh, boy. This is going to get people's minds wandering. A man has three faces. One the world sees, one his family sees, and the real one no one ever sees, but reflects the evil he truly possesses. As it shows like this in it's a black screen with white writing with this saying here.
Okay.
So here we go.
Thoughts?
Take off the silver hats. Obviously, people are assuming Okada.
Well, it's a Japanese proverb,
Right?
Right?
Yeah.
So
it has to be him.
Or
It's evil.
I don't know.
Everything is evil.
I mean, he's still under contract.
Truly
He ain't
evil.
leaving.
Truly
Unfortunately.
evil.
I mean, a certain Mick Foley has 3 faces, and he said he wants one more match.
One more match. I did think of that. I'm like, well, we know someone who has 3 faces.
Yep.
In
I don't know, Tamatonga, his contract's coming up, I believe, in New
Right.
Japan as well. He's someone I could see potentially coming in. I don't know how this relates to him, but it could be a complete new gimmick or fit in with him.
We could be saying it's Okada, it's Tamatonga, it's so and so. It could just be some like next in line D1 athlete.
It tends to be someone either someone returning or someone coming in when they do this sort of thing, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't know, but more mystery vignettes here in NXT. But this one seemed pretty like not a lot went into it. It was just like a bunch of scribble writing.
Well, I imagine this is the first one. They
Yeah.
normally run these for a few weeks and build them up, don't they, with these campaigns?
So you're assuming it's some sort of like new talent being brought in or a return or someone from main roster. You're saying it's not just like a new character they're just going to introduce like from their like
they tend not to.
PC.
They tend not to do it that way because
Yeah.
they tend to be a bit more, heavy-handed,
Yeah.
less cryptic. I always say his name wrong. Job Knobbly in the chat suggesting Bo Dallas.
He's had a few faces. He's had his mask.
Well, I mean, he's got the mask, and Bray had the whole like see no evil, hear no evil,
right,
speak no evil thing, didn't he?
I just don't know. I don't know if that's.
I mean, he's been under contract for a while now.
Yeah, I just don't know if this would be the way to bring it back. But
I don't know.
Is it Okada? I don't think this is the way WWE's bringing in Okada. So I have to nix that right away. But
why?
It's kind of a strange.
Well, it's a first tease
To say
isn't it?
He's evil. He's just not someone that like strikes. Like, what's he going to do? Come in with the balloons and the long boys? Like, no, he's not. It would be something about I don't know. Unless they're trying to be left field, it just seems like that doesn't fit his.
Well, I think it's more you drop these clues, don't you? Like that's something they've been like the whole White Rabbit campaign was a very slow, long build. This could be the first clue, just being the fact that it is a Japanese proverb, and then the next thing. I don't know. It was very cryptic. You could pretty much say it's anyone. And
We'll
find
take your
reasons
suggestions at Poisonrana Pod on Twitter, Instagram. Let us know who is this mystery person, and is it Mick Foley? Is it Okada? Who could it be? Could be a woman.
I mean, it said man.
It did?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right. I could be throwing us off.
Yeah.
Right? Exactly. We go to Vic and Wade, who remind us or tell us for the first time, I guess, NXT Battleground, Sunday, 26th, May 26th. We're getting NXT PLE Battleground. And they're going
Savannah.
to Savannah, Georgia.
Nice.
Really nice. And then, yes, Roadblock March 5th, and that is a TV special. So that'll be a Tuesday. We go to our next match, the North American Championship on the line. The champion, Oba Femi, the man who defeated Dragon Lee while cashing in his contract just a few weeks ago, is now giving him the rematch. Oba Femi is this giant of a man, the Nigerian prince, if you will. He's massive, and he cashed in beating this tiny little Rey Mysterio-like luchador. And then was like a heel and was like, nah, you don't get your rematch. And then the crowd were really behind him. So then they're like, wait, maybe we should make him a babyface. So then he's like, yeah, I will give you my rematch. And then they went, actually, let's make him a heel again. And he beats up all of like the LWO last week, even though he gave Dragon Lee the rematch. So here's the rematch where you're kind of cheering for Dragon Lee, but at the same time, you're like, I like this guy though.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird. But Oba Femi taking on Dragon Lee. Oba just dominates him here early on. He keeps like swatting him away, countering all the flashy stuff Dragon Lee tries to do. Eventually he evades this like spin around and he catches him, but Dragon catches him with a kick in the corner to the face, knocking the giant down, and then goes up top for this crazy double stomp to the face. I don't know how this guy got up from eating this move for a near fall. Dragon then runs at him again, and Oba, like Godzilla, just catches him and wheelbarrows him into this huge slam. And then again, just throwing Dragon Lee around here. Eventually, Dragon Lee counters one of these big toss attempts into an octopus stretch, which was really nice as Oba's trying to get out of this. Eventually, Lee hits a satellite DDT for a near fall. He hits a drop kick in the corner. A third, just kind of similar to his brother, Roosh, the horns, right? He goes for another one. He gets Oba climbing up in the turnbuckle and counters him basically with a sit-out Liger bomb, because this would be the only way he gets this giant up there. This was crazy, shaking the ring here, but Oba kicks out. Eventually, Oba clears the announce table, and he's trying to choke slam Dragon Lee through this, but Lee counters with a DDT. He gets Oba back in the ring, hits him with this spike Dragon Rana for a near fall. Really close near fall here, the ref counting a 2.9. But then Oba picks him up, a huge toss across the ring. Like, this guy just hoofed him all the way over, and then picks him up again and hits the pop-up power bomb for the 1, 2, 3. And Oba Femy defends successfully his North American Championship in 10 minutes, 56 seconds.
Yeah, this wasn't bad. I just find the whole thing a bit of a weird dynamic because Dragon Lee is very much like Rey Mysterio, where it's very hard to boo the guy.
Yeah.
And he's not as spectacular when he's just getting beaten up. Like, no one really wants to see Rey Mysterio just thrown around. They want to see him do the flashy stuff. And I'd say it's similar with Dragon Lee. And with Oba Femy as well, I think there's something just really fun about watching this guy throw people around. But again, you don't necessarily want to see it happen to Dragon Lee. So I just found I didn't think they were the right opponents. I think maybe an Oba Femy just destroying Alexis King would have been more fun. You know, some heel that no one really likes. There were some cool moments. Like I thought some of Dragon Lee's sort of comebacks with the like double stomp to the face and that DDT and stuff were cool. And obviously Oba Femy's very impressive with his strength, but I just felt these were the wrong opponents, and I didn't think it really showcased either guy to the best of their abilities.
Yeah, it's a bit odd because they had him cash in, which is a heel thing to do, but this guy is like over because, I mean, like, look at him, he's massive, and the crowd took a liking to him. So us as viewers on TV are like, oh yeah, that's weird, that's how he won the title. So it's like we needed to get over this hump, but then they were like, no, let's keep him heel, which is like, wait, no, you have a star that people are cheering for right away. You should just go forward.
Like, I can totally see them doing the Braun Strowman thing with him. You know, when Braun was just like tipping over trucks and that kind of thing. And but that was the most over Braun ever was. Right. People loved seeing this just gigantic man throw things. And I think that is where Oba Femy is going to be fun, is doing just that giant monster sort of stuff with. But yeah, I wouldn't have picked Dragon Lee.
Yeah, so like going forward, I think a few weeks ago on NXT, he said he's not doing the open challenge anymore. Like, I think that would be a mistake, actually. I think he should, to be like, I'll prove my dominance. Like, no one should be the way this guy looks, like 6'6", whatever the hell, many pounds, absolute unit of a man, 25-year-old monster. He shouldn't be scared of anybody. He shouldn't be like, I'm not giving open challenges. He should be like, fucking bring it so I can kill everyone. That should be the gimmick going forward, because I think it was a bit of a setback when he's like, actually, I don't want to face you, Dragon Lee. And then, actually, I do want to face you. It was a little bit weird. I didn't think the match got to anything too spectacular, but Dragon Lee is going back to main roster. He's busy.
I would think so, yeah.
LWO. Yeah, exactly. So we'll get some new challenges for Oba Femy, but I do maybe think we're getting some sort of ladder match at Stand and Deliver, and maybe you're right, it's the North American title that usually is for that match. We see the calendars, they're sold out, and Lexis King is asking Thea Hale, oh, Thea, Miss April, huh? What about a spring fling with the king? And Thea's like a little disgusted, and Riley gets in his face. And King says, I thought I told you to stay out of my face. And these two start to brawl. They get pulled apart as it cuts to Ava. She's being interviewed here. Young Rock, the Pebble. She says that Stand and Deliver tickets have already surpassed last year's sales. And this year is going to be the biggest event in NXT history. She is promising that this NXT Stand and Deliver Mania weekend is going to be the biggest thing NXT's ever done. So maybe that silly vignette is about Okada.
I mean, it should, because last year was in LA and the stadium and the arena were nowhere near as close as they are in Philly.
Right.
So it's going to be a lot easier to go both. So it should be. And the one the year before was Dallas? Similar sort of issue.
When was the Ziggler one?
That was Dallas.
Right.
So yeah, this should be their biggest one.
This one's like right near the stadium. For
WrestleMania. They're like opposite each other.
So if you wanted to go to this and WrestleMania, it'd be right next to each other. You would have hours in between.
Yeah. Whereas last year is LA. Do you remember on the show and that they kept saying, "Hey, bear in mind LA traffic. Leave early. Get there."
This year, WrestleMania starts at 7. The actual main show starts at 7 both nights, and if this show's at 12:30. It'll go for 2.5 hours. You'd have a lot of time in between because it is next to the arena and stadium. So, but she's saying it's going to be the biggest show in NXT history. What could she possibly mean?
It's bigger than Brooklyn. Wow.
Is that still the Mecca?
I feel Takeover Brooklyn.
Are we getting into this on this show?
Be
the best NXT show ever?
No, but that always felt like the big one. It felt bigger than WrestleMania weekend, didn't it? Like that Brooklyn 1 to 4 that they did.
Like
SummerSlam weekend felt like their Mania.
I've been to a few, but Takeover. We've been to a few takeovers. You've definitely been to more than me, but Takeover New York.
Yeah.
With like that card was just crazy. Yeah. That one has a place in my heart. But if you are to get a cheap plug-in, we've talked about a specific match and from a specific show that we're finally going to be looking back at next month in honor of Philly.
Oh yeah,
Takeover Philly.
Yes,
Andrade versus Gargano. So great to
get to watch it again. Jeez.
Yeah, we get to watch that match again. So
yeah, Philly month.
Will it be better than that show? Stand and Deliver. We shall see. But yeah. We then go to a recap of last Tuesday, and it shows Idris and Malik talking to I need this calendar.
Brinley Reese. She's not part of Chase U. So
right. She's like the workout girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. She last week asked them to do 5 positives, 5 negatives about things, and he's going through things. One of them I caught was he likes that people called him Malik the Freak. I think he should continue using that. And he says dislikes, we lost. When Nathan Frazier, who's just being a complete eavesdropper and dick, I might add, goes, you're not going to get anywhere talking about dislikes and likes and negatives, positive, all that stuff. He goes, you only get places by winning these things. So I'm going to hit you with a hard-hitting truth. It's like, oh, you mean your silly talk show where you also go through negatives and positives?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool, yeah.
And you don't win either?
Yeah. And then he tells his Power Ranger friend that maybe we should fight these guys.
Axiom didn't want anything to do with it. He's like, shall I lay some hard-hitting truths? And he's like, no, don't do that.
So we're getting this match on Tuesday.
Yeah, they basically said Nathan Fraser was saying, look, we had to face Bron and Baron Corbin. You face Trick and Mello, who can't even get along.
Yeah.
If it was the other way round, we'd be in the finals. Or if we were facing you, we'd be in the finals. So they're like, all right, let's do it. So it's kind of a bronze medal match, I'd say.
Right, right. It's true. There's a few teams that didn't get in there. Like LWO.
Well, these were the two. Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah.
Like there's a few teams that didn't.
Yeah, Idris and Malik lost their first round, didn't they?
Yeah.
Because they only wore the Dusty gear
once. So we were asking earlier who would, if Bron and Corbin win the titles, who could be their challengers? Like if the LWO aren't doing anything, they technically didn't face them.
That would be good.
That'd be insane.
Give them something to do.
That slingshot spot one more time.
Oh yeah. They did it on SmackDown.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. We were saying, we're like, that move's going to be used a lot now. We go to also this Tuesday night on NXT. They announced Lexis King versus Riley Osborne, that tag team match, and the Wolf Dogs celebration. They didn't quite say it like that, but that's how I'm referring to them. We see Roxanne, Perez, and Lola Vice are fighting. A classic line from Vic. What's going on? We got to go to the back.
On backstage?
As we see a pull apart here, Roxanne and Lola.
I like to think that Vic Joseph has just like spider senses. Like no one's in his ear saying something's happening. He's just like, his eyes roll back in his head. He holds the desk. He's like, wait, something's happening.
I don't know who's the best.
I feel it. Go to Go to the backstage.
Like Shivani has had years of that. Like we
Yeah.
got to go to the back, but like you weren't there for some of the TNA days with Don West.
Right.
Oh my God, his were like we got to go to the back. Like he was so over the top. I got that vibe from Vic tonight. So Roxanne and Lola are feuding as we suspected. Shout out Oni Lorcan, who's got involved there, pulling these ladies apart. So maybe we're getting Roxanne and Lola in the near future.
I assume so. Probably, if not this Tuesday, the week after.
Roadblock, which is like a month from now.
Roadblock,
But
sure.
we go to our main event of the evening. We get a recap video here for Trick Williams and Mello, the friendship that they had. We get a video recap of Trick fighting Ilja the first time and coming up short, but Trick is a completely different person than he was all those months back. So we get the rematch here tonight, how Trick won the Iron Survivor to challenge Ilja. Ilja was injured, and then he came back and told him, you can face me at this pay-per-view, and that's how we've gotten here tonight. Whoop that Trick hits. Out comes Trick Williams, the challenger. No Booker T here, so it was very quiet, very sad. But the crowd were very hyped for Trick Williams here tonight. They were super in his corner, so much that they not only do the whoop that Trick, they also, if you listen closely, you can hear parts of the crowd doing the Booker T ad-libs, which we do when we watch it. Like, what? Uh-huh. I like it. Very good. Very good, Clarksville. Points all around. Trick Williams taking on the champion, Ilja Dragunov, who's got a fantastic looking and very warm looking entrance coat.
Oh, yeah. He always looks
the
warm.
fur looks
I need
very
one of
nice.
these.
Starts off here. Trick goes for a drop kick, but Trick dodges it. And Ilja dodges the drop kick and then keeps blocking all the stuff Trick kind of tries to do. But then eventually Trick hits him with the drop kick. And boy, did he ever, because right away, I think Ilja's nose is bleeding.
I think, yeah, it must have been the drop kick that did this, but yeah, busted his nose.
And then I don't know what Ilja did, but he nails Trick, which causes his lips to bleed.
The Constantine special, but the lariat was like over the face, and Trick had already busted his lip in the match earlier, so it wasn't going to take much to make it bleed again.
So we are like a minute into this match, maybe 2, maybe 3, and both guys are already a bloody mess. It's a bloody Valentine's, a bloody Vengeance Day here for these two. Both are bleeding. Trick it was scary. I was like, did his tongue or something get hurt here? Very nasty. And Mello, who is ringside for Trick, because he brought out his own friend here to be ringside. Mello's like, oh man, you're bleeding a whole lot here. Ilja hits him with a Death Valley driver onto the apron as Mello is like, you got this. Don't worry about it. Get back in there. Ilja's in there. He hits a drop kick off the top for a near fall. Trick is kind of getting in Ilja's face and says, oh yeah, is that all you got, champ? And slaps him and then runs at him, but gets caught with a catch powerbomb for a near fall. Trick comes back and hits a code breaker, one of Mello's moves, so he gets hype on the ringside area. There's a huge side kick for a near fall. I like this, that he's got a move that's like a side kick.
Yeah,
he's not.
It's like the leg lariat, isn't it?
Yeah. It's the Booker T side kick, really. But he took his damn head off with this. A flapjack for a near fall. There's then a exchange with the wrist control. There's a bookend off the apron to the floor from Trick here, which just looked painful. I mean, both guys doing this. This must just hurt both of you. But
the like Uranagi on the floor
off the apron.
Yeah,
to Ilja, like his body he didn't like. Oh, I'm sure he tried to .
Well, they tried to sort of land on their feet kind of first, but then his head just cracks against the floor.
Oh, vicious. So these two go back at it into the ring. Eventually, there's Mello who gets shoved into Trick by Ilja. So Mello already getting involved here, which kind of inadvertently hits the knee of Trick. So then he starts to sell that knee again from earlier on.
Exactly, yeah.
We see a zigzag style neck breaker from Trick for a near fall. And then Trick sees Ilja laid out and holds up his own forearm and gives Ilja a little bit of his own medicine with the H-bomb, the Trick bomb here, as he levels Ilja with his own move, but can't pin him. Ilja gets back up, knocks down Trick, and then kind of smiles, lifts up his own arm and says, I'll show you how to do it. The H-bomb, not the best name for an NXT wrestling move, especially this week. He goes for that and hits one, hits another, climbs up top. We've seen him finish people with this move. Off the top, the super H-bomb, but Trick kicks out of it. He's a little shocked by this. Trick comes back and hits him with the huge boot for a 2 count. The crowd here were very, responsive. They thought this ref had fucked this up, but it was just a 2.9 count. Eventually, Melo's up on the apron and gets shoved, and the ref gets shoved as well. So the ref is down. Trick is up. He hits the Trick knee to Ilja, but there's no ref. The crowd start to count. A new ref comes in. Bless this ref. He runs down there, gets the 1, 2, but Ilja kicks out. Eventually, both guys are going at it again. Ilja drops Trick again, goes for the H-bomb off the top rope a second time, but this time Trick gets his knees up, and then they're both slowly standing. A great ending moment to this match where they both are standing, setting up for their finish. Ilja, who gets in the corner for the Moscow Torpedo Moscow. Yeah. He goes one side, he goes to the other, he screams, and Trick is kind of doing his own, like the whoop that Trick thing. As they run at each other. This is like,
it was like a duel.
It's like an ending of a Gladiators. Yeah. Who's, a game of chicken here. Who's going to hit who? As they run at each other like Roman gladiators, and they run and collide, and you're not sure who hit who, but it's clear. The Torpedo Moscow connected. 1, 2, 3. Ilja Dragunov defends his NXT title, beating Trick Williams in 17 minutes, 58 seconds. Here, the NXT champ retains.
But Trick had him pinned. He had him beat.
Yeah. Trick may have lost this match, but Trick did it. This was Rocky. This was, hey, you know what? You didn't win the match, but you proved to everyone that you could be in the main event. You deserve to be in the main event.
I think Trick is going to do so well. Hopefully, if he continues the way he's been. I know it's a dirty name we don't like to talk about, but I see similarities with where Velveteen Dream was in NXT, where he's wrestling-wise a bit rough around the edges and not like the most sort of, technically gifted. There's still like a lot of like greenness there, but has a certain connection with the crowd and can tell a good story. And, before all the stuff was coming out about Dream, he was this guy who kind of was in those big matches against your top guys and he didn't have that whole big indie background that everyone did. And I know Cena pinpointed him as, he's someone I can see going far. I really see it with Trick, and I see it in that Cena is one of them, not a pretty wrestler, but has that connection and can be at that main event level. And I think both matches we've seen with Trick and Ilja proved that he can hang to a certain level with these guys and has a connection enough with this crowd where not everything needs to look pretty within the story of the match, but you are with him every single way and just want to see this guy win. So I think he's come such a long way, and I think he'll be a huge deal on the main roster one day.
Yeah, I definitely agree. As we've said it a bunch in the past few months, but like his first time coming into NXT was compared to what he has become now is like so crazy. And he's had a lot of the crowds. I know NXT Tuesdays, they're always in the Florida PC Center, but tonight the crowd's super behind him. In both matches, he was the star of the show. It was like that at the last time they toured. Like they're going to keep seeing that he has become like a big part of the show. And he has that so much. Weekly TV has focused him as like the main champion. And then he won that Survivor match to get this shot. And I really, really got into this match. And there's something about like, you can have two wrestlers or more wrestlers that are really good at their game, but having a reason to like care about why they're fighting. And Ilja is someone who's like so over the top, like dramatic in his presence of his character that it works in such a weird way that he did like in his promo last week to hype up this match. He's like, I done more for you than Melo has. And it's like, yo, for real. Like you have, because you whooped this guy's ass like months ago. And ever since then, this guy's been great. So this guy learned a lot from you.
And I think there was the, I'm going to use the comparison again, got that Hook v. Joe kind of feeling with this as well, with the kick out from the like super H-bomb.
Yeah.
And Melo's reaction to it was great. Like, wow, okay, he kicked out of that. Wow, like that pinned me.
And they're both bleeding.
The blood adds to it as well, where you just felt like Trick, this was the hardest test of his life, and he rose to it. I really liked it.
I really got into this match. I was really rooting for him, but at the same time, I love Ilja. The finish was really epic. I don't know why we haven't seen something like that. It recently, at least in wrestling, where it's like they're both broken down. They both seem to have the running strike finisher.
It's like we both know we've got one thing left in the tank, and
one of us is
getting
going down. Yeah, it was really great. So really got into this match. Easily my match of the night.
And I think they've done a great job with Trick since that first episode of 2.0, where we rarely saw him wrestle for a long time. They clearly saw something in the PC they liked, and they just had him as the sidekick. And over that time, we saw him get so much better at the promo, while clearly they're working back, like behind closed doors on the wrestling. And then when we saw him in the odd wrestling match, we were like, okay, he's coming along. Every time we were saying how much he's improving. And now he's at the point where he can wrestle on TV every week, but they didn't expose him, which is, I think, something they're maybe trying with Ava right now, because they had her in like 1 or 2 matches on TV and it wasn't good. So let's try and get you better at the speaking on TV in a speaking role whilst we're working on the other stuff, on the actual wrestling, and hopefully it all comes together. It certainly has with Trick. Yeah, no, it's completely worked with Trick, and I see big things for this guy down the line. I thought he really delivered. Obviously, Ilja, every time he wrestles someone, it's like they have to wrestle the Ilja match, right? So another question, if Okada's not coming into NXT, if he's not the guy for Stand and Deliver, who is to face Ilja? I assume he keeps this title all the way till that show. Yeah. So who shall it be? What is Ilja's next steps? There's a lot of TV programs you could do from now until then. You can have a roadblock here or whatever TV matches, but for Stand and Deliver, what is the big main event? We had a Dijak Ilja match, didn't we? I think. Yeah. Like I'm talking on the way to Stand and Deliver. Yeah. Like I feel like he's faced all the top guys. It feels like. So it's Okada. So it could be whoever this mystery man is, whether that's Okada or like the easy thing to do is another main roster who's a popular, and I know they seem to play the Johnny thing all the time. Johnny, but like a Johnny or a Ciampa against Ilja, they never did that match in NXT, and would be like, for your NXT fans, it would be a big match, but especially with Johnny, they've done that so many times where it's like, we got to bring emergency break glass. Who isn't doing anything on the main roster who's popular? So who else from main roster? Johnny would be pretty good. They seem to be loving up Ivar. We got to get Ivar down. We can also remember Ivar's been fun. Yeah, sorry. Ivar has been fun, or Gable. But there is also the chance you could do maybe a triple threat with these guys. I think you need to do the one-on-one. Do we get the title on Melo before this? We'll see, because we go to what happens after the match here. Dragunov grabs his title. He celebrates. He goes, good job, Trick. I'm going to leave you alone. Walks up, poses on the ramp. See ya. Good night, Clarksville. And out walks our champion. As Trick is left alone in the ring, Melo's there with him. He picks him up. He helps him up. The logo pops up. That damn logo. You're my boy, Trick. You're always going to be my boy. As Trick hugs him, he stares at the entrance ramp, turning his back to Melo. And Melo's stance just changes. His demeanor, his face, everything changes. The crowd can sense it. They erupt. They go, whoa, 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 as you hear the sea of whoa. And Melo, from behind, attacks his friend Trick, clips his knee as Trick is just laying there. Yeah. Melo standing there, soaking in all the booze, leaves the ring, grabs a chair, stabs Trick in the leg and the knee with it, and then repeatedly just bashing it over Trick's knee multiple times, and then takes out the towel, the TMG, Team Melo Gang, Trick Melo Gang, sorry, puts it over him, sits on the chair, and then just the sea of booze as you're left asking, why, Melo? Why? Yeah, so we all thought this was happening tonight. It felt like this is the right time to do it. I I'm looking forward to the explanation why, because I feel this makes more sense if Trick won the title, you know, especially after losing the Dusty Cup and then winning this. You've got the argument, oh, so you can win this one, but you can't win ours, sort of thing.
Right.
It feels, and then he targets him. Yeah, I was jealous, never wanted you. To have it after he's lost is,
I think either way.
Weird.
I think either way, because here he's like, his response, if we do get the promo this week or the next week, why Melo, why, he should be like, I was gonna do it either way.
Yeah.
Fuck you. I'm done with you. I'm going to SmackDown now. I don't need you.
You prove that you're not
Yeah.
the guy. You didn't win the title. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think this has to be stand and deliver.
Obviously we're gonna get this match of stand and deliver, which is the pseudo main event, really, because it's Trick and Melo, who've been huge characters for the show.
I wonder if you do flip the title still on like Melo before this.
Right. Ilja did not come out to save him, by the way.
No, and Ilja's been on Trick's side.
Yeah.
And he just walked through the curtain.
Yeah.
Like, he'd have surely known what's going on.
Yeah. Pretty fun.
But yeah, I think you could on that Roadblock show potentially do a title switch. Remember, you did that with the Gargano Ciampa thing.
Yeah,
Black was the champion, wasn't he? And they did the like little swerve thing.
And then Black never wrestled a singles match
can
ever
have,
again.
You know, Melo win a battle royal to face Ilja, and Trick accidentally caught. You can do that whole thing.
Maybe.
Because I feel this maybe needs
the title.
I
don't know.
Because Melo will lose and then stay on main roster, and then Trick can run as the babyface champion. And I think that's...
It's like, well, then what do you do with Ilja? I mean, you would have had Trick win it here, no? Or you want a Trick beating Melo for it? I
think Trick beats Melo for it.
Right. Yeah, that's tough. I'm not sure.
And then you have Ilja via Carter, maybe, in just a dream match, you know?
Right.
Doesn't need a title.
Sure.
Both are going up to the main roster the next day.
Right.
So I don't know.
Sure. Yeah. I'm not sure. This reminded me of Seth Rollins turning on the Shield. It's like, look, this is something we know is coming, but like it's wrestling and it's good. And I love for this. I thought Melo did a fantastic job. I thought everyone did a fantastic job, except Ilja, who just left Trick by himself. But the match itself was great. The ending angle was even better. Yes, we knew this was coming from the moment there was a who shot Trick, who attacked Trick backstage. This was like October. This is like months. And then finally we're getting the reveal like, oh, I took you out. And
I'm looking forward to the step-by-step, like what happened in each moment.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Was Melo ever working with Lexis King? And
he was right. Lexis King was telling the truth.
Yeah.
Remember? He said, oh, I got your back. Thanks.
Yeah.
Whatever. That was the part of the storyline. So there you go. Lexis King speaks truth. But I thought this was a great angle. It's a classic turn in wrestling. We always love that in wrestling.
And it's a classic NXT style turn.
The logo. Well. That's the logo is the old Triple H thing. Again, going back to Gargano and all that. But like when that Punk thing happened, as soon as the logo went up, we're like, nope, he's coming. It's happening. Because they rely on it now. It's a good spot. It's a good gimmick. Yeah. Let's trick them. They think the show's over.
It's done so much now. Every turn they've done it, but it's fun.
Good stuff.
Overall, I quite enjoyed the show. I thought the sort of opening match, the two Trick matches really were my highlights.
Me too.
And I did actually get into the women's. The other two felt very not really PLE worthy, I'd say. They weren't bad, but I felt they was stuff we'd see on NXT Tuesdays.
Yeah, easily the match of the night was the main event. I thought those guys definitely delivered, and they bloodied themselves up. I hope they're doing okay. But the rest of the show is okay. Nothing necessarily got to like write home about level or like pay-per-view. It kind of felt like a good episode of Tuesday night, but the main event definitely was what was a step up and was really entertaining. And again, really loved the turn angle with Melo. And for the next few months, the Melo Trick story is not going to be them boys anymore, but them going at each other as opponents. And I think that'll be great weeks of TV from both like Melo's side of being a heel of like why he did it, and then Trick's side of like, yo, we were boys, why'd you do this kind of stuff? So I think that storyline should be, knock on wood, a good story that we're going to have in the next few months leading into Stand and Deliver. Another question is though, what do they do with Ilja? I'm sure they have things planned out, and maybe they do bring in someone special to face.
He's got to have someone big.
Yeah.
To face.
We have a lot of feedback, it seems,
Good,
here.
great.
So I'm going to read in. If you want to join in on feedback, we do this every Tuesday night after NXT. Search Poison Rana in Facebook. We have a Poison Rana page. You can like it, but we have a Facebook group you can join where we post feedback threads and memes and all sorts of fun stuff. I'm going to go to Jake from the Windy City, who writes in, a very good special from NXT. You get 2 great matches to bookend the night, a heartbreaker heel turn, a strong women's title match, and 3 other matches that are all very, at least, decent. I can't ask for much more, especially when the show goes under 3 hours. Good. Going forward, stand and deliver at 11:30 a.m. ET. Looking forward to during brunch time.
It's 11:30 now?
They've moved it? Oh, man. 11:30 in the morning? I got to pretend to really be into wrestling? Do they serve beer at 11:30?
I was going to say, going to need some Bloody Marys that day, I think.
Jake continues, looking forward to watching during brunch time. Scrambled eggs and waffles from IHOP and pro wrestling is a perfect combination.
We don't
have IHOP here, but in Philly they do. So maybe we'll. Thank you, Jake.
We go to Frank, who says, fun show with a killer main event. Trick has got it all, and Ilja got him to that next level tonight. Finally, we get the mellow turn, and it was a doozy. The curse of the graphic continues. Huge heat in Clarksville. Parker looked great. Lee made Femy look like a beast in the classic little big match. Dijak finally got a big win. All hail the Wolf Dogs. Looking forward to the road to stand and deliver.
Thank you, Frank. We go to Sean, who writes in, man, that was a great show. Absolutely solid throughout. Not everything was perfect, but every match was entertaining. Braun was the MVP of the Dusty Final, which had its share of the wonky bits, but absolutely got the finish right. The 6-man was no Matt Classic, but the family made way more entertaining than it had a right to be. Jada Parkett's got a ton of promise, and she needs to ditch those OTM boys real quick. They just joined, but yeah. Dijak and Gacy had a fun car crash, and I have to say I am an all-in crazy Joe Gacy. That's the gimmick.
Right.
I kept calling him Creepy Joe Biden. Sorry, Creepy Joe Gacy, but now he's Crazy Joe Gacy. He continues, Roxanne and Lyra having a really good match, but Lola's attempt in cash-in stepped everything up, even though Lola looked pretty dumb for cashing in at that spot. Lola did put on a good showing for herself. I'll kind of skim through some more. Dragon Lee should get commission from Oba Femi because he made him look like an absolute star. Oba did his part as well, throwing his weight around the true big man style. Who will be able to beat him? The main event was magic and better, in my opinion, than any of the Mello and Ilja matches. Ilja was his usual savage self, but Trick gave as good as he got. The match was a war. Mello turning was not unexpected, but was perfectly executed in true takeover Chicago fashion. Let the road to stand and deliver begin. See you Tuesday, everyone. Another good question. It did come to mind. Did you like this match more than you liked Mello Dragunov? I don't know if it stands up against the No Mercy one, but
No Mercy one's the better one.
Both
are pretty good.
Yeah, I really like this match though. Yeah.
I also like the Lyra comment about being a bit dumb, but it does kind of fit her character because she wants the limelight and the focus. So like, oh, it's a big pay-per-view. I should be involved, you know, and kind of a hubris getting in the way almost. We go to another Sean who says, overall, I enjoyed the show. The main event had me really wanting Trick to get the win, and the crowd would have went insane. The finish didn't really make sense with Trick's knee losing against the Dragon's head, but it was still fun. I always enjoy the show.
I guess because he didn't quite get the knee up, it was Dragunov who hit him in the face.
I think, exactly.
His is the headbutt to the face.
Yeah,
right? So
exactly.
the knee missed, and it went into his head. Megan writes in, a strong show with Trick and Ilja elevating it with their emotional roller coaster and true to form. The mellow heel turn paid off viciously. Trick put on the performance of his career by bookending the show, and I found this match to be superior than the match they had at Heatwave. Yes, absolutely. Those false finishes were heart-stopping. Stand and Deliver is going to go all the way violent with Trick Mellow Gang warfare. Roxy Lyra was good until Lola spiced things up. Roxy has an out because of her and Tatum getting involved, leaving room for a rematch in Philly as their send-off. And big ups to Corbin's Dr. Doom gear. He and Bron are surprisingly fun together. Let's get through this roadblock. Sorry, Corbin was wearing Dr. Doom gear? That's what he was, dressed like a monk. I don't know if he was.
I think it means the tights.
The tights were Dr. Doom.
I guess so.
Okay, got you.
We go to Manny from Pacoima, a solid NXT PLE. The Wolf Dogs continue to be a great tag team, and I'm curious to see where this goes for them, given Bron is getting that main roster call-up. The ending of the NXT title match was pure anime. Seeing Ilja and Trick run to each other with their finishers, given that Ilja is an anime fan, I wonder if he pitched that ending. I was ready for Vice City to take over NXT, but I'm not mad at the outcome. Lyra is a great champion. I'm sure she still has more matches before she eventually drops the title. Lastly, I'm very curious to find out who that promo package was for that used the Japanese philosophy of the free faces we all have.
Manny bringing up the main event spot with the finale with like anime, because it's like Dragon Ball Z where they both like stare at each other and then run at each other. Yeah, I'm sure that was thought of because of that. But yeah, lots of feedback, guys. Thank you. It looks like everyone kind of enjoyed this show and are interested.
See, Sundays are a good night to have them.
Yeah.
People staying in. Let's throw on NXT.
Exactly. Well, we will be back on Tuesday night covering NXT as we are every Tuesday. We'll be back some point next Sunday to chat about Okada's last match against Tanahashi, plus the War Dogs cage match. So lots and lots of shows. Follow us on the socials if you haven't already for updates of all the other stuff. But that was Vengeance Day. We made it. Is there anything else you kind of want to talk about before we end the show? I mean, we had AEW. They had some shows this week. You made me watch the Danielson versus the
Hechicero,
the lit wizard luchador.
Yeah,
is that right to describe him?
Yeah, he's a wizard.
Hechicero.
Man,
that match was pretty good as well. Yeah,
I got real Vikingo Kenny vibes from this one.
Yeah,
where like I mean I was familiar with Vikingo, but you know the whole thing. What is this? Who is this guy? Where's the story?
Right.
I felt that with this. I have heard this guy's name a couple of times. Never watched his matches apart from the little like 8-man they did on Rampage, and I was blown away. Just his doing the kind of almost Zack Sabre Jr.-esque submission style wrestling, but with his size, and then adding the sort of some lucha high flying and arm drags and all that. I thought it really worked. And Danielson is obviously one of the best at that sort of submission style. I want to see more of this guy.
Yeah.
It was like instantly made a fan and made me more curious in this CMLL AEW thing. And if it was just a 1-week story they've done to just involve these guys, I thought it was done really well. If there's something bigger coming out of it, I'm curious. We've obviously got a match coming up on Dynamite, I think, the 6-man as well. This
week's Dynamite looks really well. They've stacked it with the Lucha Radicals coming in. CMLL Invasion. It'd be really sweet and badass if AEW could put together some sort of tour throughout Mexico or something, because I'm sure they get a lot of people. I just don't think Dynamite is on TV easily in certain places.
Well, we've seen though was it Mystico Rocky Romero or something like that? There was a match they did that did really good ratings.
Okay.
And I think, especially when you're in Texas or wherever, like this was 20 miles away from
like the border
from Mexico. Like I think using that talent, you've got such a big like Latin American fan base in wrestling. And we're seeing WWE capitalize on it right now with all their Latin American superstars. But having lucha presented on on American wrestling TV, where it isn't just Rey Mysterio, and seeing different styles of lucha, like Hechicero, I've butchered his name now.
I'm already blanking messing.
It was really good. I loved the match.
Yeah, so next week they've got the Blackpool Combat Club taking on like a bunch of those Volader Jr., Mascara, Dorada, Hechicero, taking on the BCC. So like that's going to be nuts. They have advertised Adam Page versus Swerve Strickland. The third one. This is, I mean, I don't know how they're going to top any of the craziness, but I wonder if we are getting a triple threat at Revolution with Joe, Hangman, and Swerve.
Yeah.
Right?
I would think so.
Something happens on this episode that the match that it would make it a 3-way.
I would think so.
Joe gets involved. Jericho Takeshi is also advertised.
Okay.
And Darby and Sting going for the tag titles, which I imagine they win the tag titles and then defend them against the Bucks at Revolution in Sting's retirement. So what a crazy way for Sting to go out as champion.
Yeah, I thought Dynamite was fine this week.
RVD
the RVD match was fun.
He's like 52 or something. Like, dude, how is he more jacked? Like, I know he got upset on Twitter and stuff, being like, oh, what do you mean I still got it? Like, obviously, it's like, no, like you look better than you looked in your whole TNA run. Yeah. Like he looks good. I like that they randomly use him for things like this. And I kind of hope he's in some matches for Philly weekend, having it's Philly. He has not been booked for a lot of stuff that has already announced. So I'm wondering if he does get added. But
no, he looked good. I thought Dynamite was just fine other than that. But I do think it looks stacked next week. And I did really enjoy that Danielson match. And then the other thing from wrestling really this week, I think, was the Bayley Damage Control.
Oh, right. Yes. Breakup. They're doing the Batista overhearing Triple H and Ric Flair talking shit. Yeah. Except it's Bayley like, bitch, you didn't know I speak Japanese. Yeah. Very good. I mean, so that's the match, right? Bayley Io at WrestleMania.
Yep, they've thrown the graphic up already. People on Raw were, when Bayley was cutting her heel promo, were cheering her. Like, she's gonna be a huge baby face here. I think it's working. What I like is people have noted that Dakota Kai wasn't there. So potentially can deny I've never had anything to do with this. And also Io didn't attack Bayley at all. It was just Kairi and Asuka who were the newer members.
Right.
So you can almost have it where, like, because the original three was Io, Dakota, Bayley, where Io and Dakota didn't have anything to do with it, which I quite like. It's another thing they can drag this story out a bit, but I think that match will be pretty fun.
Yeah. But there's some good stuff going for it. Obviously, the big thing was The Rock and Cody Rhodes, as we talked about off the top of this show. But the hashtag We Want Cody, I'm sure we're going to see a lot of that. Like, what happens on this week's programming? I'm wondering if we do get some sort of announcement at that Vegas thing on Thursday with The Rock. Maybe they do announce that match, whether it's for this year, whether it's for next year. I don't know. But Cody saying not this WrestleMania does make it kind of like it's
just weird as well how Cody a week ago was saying The Rock's a smart, nice guy. He wouldn't come in and just take away 2 years of story in one night. And
he would. Okay.
It's like, yeah. One last thing, unless you got anything.
No.
I want to plug chopped-tees.com/Poisonrana.
Yes.
We know our friends and family at Post Wrestling have just put all their stuff up.
Hell yeah.
It looks pretty sweet. I'm eyeing up those MCU later hoodies. The bright red look really nice.
I mean, look, Dickie, our boy, put together Chopped-Tees because he heard us basically saying we wanted a place that we could have some merch and some fun stuff to put our frogs on, and people wanted some merch out there. And he basically helped us with that and launched this site. And then the site kind of snowballed a little bit. And now we got Post Wrestling attached to it. And we are part of the Post universe, and we are more than thrilled to have Post Wrestling over at chopped-tees.com.
We announced our Black Pudding Combat Club t-shirt on Tuesday, which we've got a sale.
We joked on a show, and that's how this shirt came about. And we joked, if one person buys this, we've done our job. And shout out Sunil. I think it was Sunil, you bought it and sent a photo in, so bless you.
And we've just launched a brand new CM Punk inspired shirt. We've got it in the ringer design, which is pretty cool, with our little frog logo there and the maple leaf. We've got the baseball tee as well, which I'm going to get my hands on for sure.
Very nice.
And the black, the new variant, the new Punk, the WWE Return variant with the black and blue coming out. So get your hands on them as well. More merch dropping shortly.
Yeah. So because of the freedom of Chopped Tees, we can put up new designs all the time. You went ahead and made this awesome looking Punk design. So check them out, support your local content creators, and buy some merch, whether it's from Post Wrestling, whether it's from us here, the lads at Poisonrana. And I know I've been behind on this, but any world champs out there, I will be sending you a bit of a discount code this week for some Poisonrana merch. And I'll also be asking for your address because I do want to send you some stuff. So World Champs, that is coming this week. I swear this time, but it'll be for the best because you're going to get some sweet deals on some of our awesome merch that we have up there. But join us on the Patreon because World Champs, you get stuff like that. You get invited to do certain things like that. You get access to Behind the BDE every month where we and Davie chat our sweet mouths off about random stupid shit, but then you also get to pick stuff and then we review it, have you on and join us. So there's a bit of a waiting list, but once you sign up, I'd say after a few months, we add you into the rotation, and we have a bunch this month with some Up Yours. We recently just dropped our Up Yours. Our World Champ family member Howie selected Kill Bill Volume 1, so that's out on the Patreon. We've had such popular shows such as Up Yours Howard the Duck.
Oh, yeah.
From John Cena. So you could be a world champ and pick something and join. I know we have a few coming up. Oddly enough, we're going to be chatting about Sting retiring, and we're doing a best match ever Sting. We're going to be joined by Nate Milton, who knows an awful lot about Sting. But then somehow this month, we're also doing something that kind of ties into Sting. Completely
by accident, but The Crow.
Yes.
Has been picked by Chris Price, one of our world champions, family member patrons. So we're going to be talking about The Crow, obviously the whole Crow Sting based on this movie. So
hell yeah,
that all came together pretty well. This month also on the Patreon, we're going to be joined by Dan Reed to talk about Battle Royale 2.
The more forgotten.
Yeah, we did part 1 last year. We're also going to be doing our second episode of Poison Profile, talking about the Nation of Domination as it's to celebrate Black History Month.
That's right. We were like thinking like what other shows, and we just did our first ever profile show talking about the Von Erich family and the history of them and everything going forward. But we're going to be doing a second one, and we're going to look at the beginning of the Nation of Domination to the very end of
all the way to The Rock stealing Cody's place at WrestleMania. Yeah, exactly. That's where we're doing.
Yeah.
And then finally, we do have a poll up on the Facebook group. We wanted to look at a classic pay-per-view featuring an Elimination Chamber match or two. And so you've got 5 to pick from there. Currently, it's very close between SummerSlam 2003, which is the second chamber match, right? That's the one with Goldberg and
Triple H,
Kevin Nash.
Don't pick that one.
And one which I know you're very fond of, No Way Out 2009.
Okay. Is that Jeff Hardy? Edge?
No. That's
remember.
Edge in 2
That's right.
chamber matches.
That's right. Yes. Okay, so you guys got to get voting on this, and whatever one gets picked, we will review the pay-per-view in full this month. I can tell you that next month after that, we're gearing up for Philly. So we're going to be looking at TakeOver Philly, like we mentioned, Gargano versus Almas. But also, I'll give you a little heads up. We will be looking at Rocky in March.
Yep.
For Philly, and possibly a retro ECW show as well.
And WrestleMania 15, I believe, was Philly as well.
Can't give it all away,
yeah.
but
why not? Yeah.
Yeah.
Subscribe for multiple months.
Exactly. Yeah. It's $5 to become a friend over at our Patreon, and it keeps the lights on literally. So give us a shot if you haven't already. $5 a month to access all the shows in that back catalog. We do a show called Was Next as well. We recently talked about NXT Arrival, the first ever network special. And we just did a show covering the NXT just after that as well. The debut of the Rosebuds, including Braun Strowman, Becky Lynch.
And don't say Simon Gotch.
Why would you? Your algorithm. It's listening to you. Don't go on YouTube for the next 6 days. All right. Well, there you go. Patreon.com/Poisonrana. $5 to become a friend. Go check it out and get all the shows. We have so many coming out, multiple shows per week in the next little while. So support your boys, support the BDE. Thank you, everyone in the chat here, everyone in the crowd. We had a lot of people in the YouTube chat here tonight.
Yeah.
So really, really do appreciate everyone. We'll be back over on Tuesday, like I said. But search Poison Rana in your Facebook, your Twitter, your Instagram, your podcast app. Search Poison Rana. Subscribe to all the other shows. We have tons of free shows. We got Detox with myself with Jordan Goodman. We got What Up Doe with Sino and B Detroit. We got Eagles Don't Hunt Flies, probably a new one coming out.
Part 2 coming out next week with Dean Ambrose. No, sorry, we had Dean Ambrose, CM Punk. Now it's time for Jon Moxley, CM Punk. And they said it's a pretty big one dropping next week.
Fragile ego.
Yeah.
Fragile mind. fragile body. So lots and lots of shows at Poisonrana Pod, Twitter, Instagram for all the stuff that we do. Join us on Instagram for all the fun memes that I post in the stories. And we appreciate you supporting us, and we'll be back. So shout out all the postmarks out there, all the NXT friends. We really, really love you. I myself, Braden Herrington, you can find me Twitter and Instagram. I am at the Bray D.
And I am at Davie Portman.
That's it. That's all. Take care. Goodbye. Be safe. And hashtag we want Cody.
Ahoy!
First time in a long time, but back like I never left. Taking each day as it comes, you know me, I don't read ahead. Watch me burn down everything, BDE on the TV set. When I'm in control on the road, you can never really know what's up next.